was doing, and Vinny shuts me up in my track. He's so low health now, 72 hours to stay in this late game.
Now take a look at the Issa. He has the ultimate high ground, great equipment as well. To just take advantage, 2 launch pads.
The only problem is low on material, so he has the mobility, but if he's forced to build down, that's one of those areas you can't afford to be dropping down with that glider. But Vinny, he didn't take out 72 hours, but 72 hours died to the storm. What a game Yakos has had so far as well.
For elimination so far on his...
Yakos, it's Poland, Brazil, South Korea remain here. The trap is going down. Yakos looks for that trade. Damage as he falls, but into the storm he goes. Yakos, if he can pick up an elimination, that would be it. And Aim Hero is the one down there as Yakos gets trapped in the zone. Yakos is eliminated from this. It's a 1 versus 1. History is taking on Aim Hero as Aim Hero was the one that picked up the elimination from that. Aim Hero does it for South Korea, picks up a 4th elimination and the victory royale.
What a finish. Ooh, so exciting. When I saw Yakos just falling down, I was like, oh no, he has 2 builds available. There's nothing to attach to. But he saw the launch pad in this zone. 200 IQ play. Also the trap that he just put.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But let's just talk about the victory round.
Yeah, we got to talk about Aim Hero because this is one of the guys that was talking up a big game on Twitter, talking about how nobody needs to land tilted. Didn't matter whether tilted was part of his game. Aim Hero picks up round 4, victory royale. Good late game performance. Great late game performance out of Aim Hero as you can see on screen just how much it means as well. He's like, got away with that one at the end.
Incredible late game stuff, action, drama. Almost killed you at the end there at one moment. Your heart was in your mouth as Yakos took the leap of faith. But I mean, we've got to give huge props. We talked about how we wanted this to be an international tournament. We wanted all different nationalities to step up. South Korea, very much now on the map. A big win there in the final game. 4 eliminations as well coming in for Aim Hero. He couldn't have wished for more.
Yeah, massive. 85 points comes from that. So what a good performance. Like, that was such a clutch late game as well. That could have gone any way, I think.
That is true. I feel like everyone in the late game could have won that game. But at the same time, you know, when you have such an aim, like Aim Hero, and you get that shotgun blast for over 114 damage, that's just game deciding. And it did decide, you know, the win for him. I think this is the first South Korean win as well on the international stage. So here's Circle. But I love it, man. South Koreans are just fantastic in games in general.
Yeah, I mean, look at those 3 nationalities we had in that final circle. We had Brazil, we had South Korea, of course,
Poland,
and we had
Yakos.
Poland, of course, Yakos. And now, for those of you who might not be aware, Yakos obviously won the solos competition last weekend. He's not happy with that. He's here to play.
I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, then keeping on talking about Yakos, but I want to talk about, like, that was a different playstyle out of Yakos from some of the way he was building to the end game. A little bit in the Polish tournament was slow and steady. This game, he's a late game, I'm going to crush everyone, like, try and get every angle from that high ground. Really impressive performance from him.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from him. But we need to we need to sort of
Take a
talk
break.
a little. Well, before we do that, I want to just highlight again Aim Hero with the win there. You can see it on the bottom there. 4 eliminations to come. A little bit of history for South Korea here on the big stage, making a name for themselves, and certainly a name to keep an eye out for as we move on in the tournament. But that is going to do it, gentlemen. Round number 4 is done. South Korea is on the map. We're going to go for a break, and of course, when we get back after round 4, it's round 5. It's getting easy, this.
Think she can't get a last-second clutch? Watch this. Think he can't carry his team while streaming in high resolution? All the while recording a once-in-a-lifetime win? Watch this. Think leveling up only happens in-game? Watch this. On Intel Core i7, they'll rise to every challenge. Now it's your turn. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Why are you watching me when this could be you? This is so you.
Classic you. And this could be us.
This is all waiting for you! PS4 for the players!
ESL Katowice Royale, featuring Fortnite, is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, and PlayStation 4.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Katowice Royale. And much like a volcano, things are really starting to hot up at the moment. We've got 4 rounds under our belt. We've only got 3 rounds to go now. But before we get into our next rounds, we want to, again, catch up with one of our competitors who's competing in this tournament. This time, it's Razaru.
Usually I'm just I'm starting my day with Kovacs. That's like an FPS trainer that I use, and after that I made my own edit map to practice some edits for Fortnite, and after that I do some build fights or public games. I'm really good at late game decision making. So when it comes to rotations in like the last 3 or 4 zones, I'm usually like doing the best decisions, leading me to the victories I can get. And I think the fighting in early game, I'd say, is my weakness. I would say like a combination of building and making smart decisions, like game sense. I think I used to play soccer as my hobby before, but I basically stopped for like esport. My favorite music style is basically electro swing, and Caravan Palace is amazing.
There we go then, gentlemen. Catching up with another one of our competitors here, Razaru, obviously from Germany. Lots to say. He says that his decision-making in endgame is what separates him as a player.
Yeah, and his decision-making late game has been able to net him multiple rounds in a row being high ground, which is so important. We were watching, backstage, and we were talking about how he's able to get high ground a second game in a row, but more importantly, he was able to maintain it for a very long time.
And I need to welcome you to the desk. I realise that I haven't. I'm sorry, Zacubus.
Right.
Zacubus is joining us on the desk, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been chomping at the bit to get on the desk. Obviously, 4 games down now. What's been the standout performances for you?
There's been so many. Yakos in that last game, the absolute game awareness that lad has was insane. To know where that jump at the right point, at the right time. No mats, does the risky play, comes out second place. Really, really well played from Yakos.
We've had a couple of players kind of sneaking their way up the rankings as well. Magan, a guy we haven't really touched on individually too much. We've mentioned his name quite a bit, but he's currently in 3rd place. He's been able to finally get in through there. And I kind of want to point this out because obviously there's a lot of EU versus NA, but we have to keep in mind, out of the top 10 players right now, 7 are from Europe, one's from Brazil, and the other 2 are from North America.
And another thing to point out is we've had 4 games so far, 4 different winners from 3 different continents, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? We said that we wanted to have players from every single corner of the globe, and they're all performing, Zacubus.
Oh, very much so. It's neck and neck. Everybody's coming above and below. I mean, Vinny, he was about 5th, 6th for 3 rounds in a row, and now he's stepped it up. And after that last performance, he's overtaken Kinstar. So now that's a big, big upset. EU's going to be mad about that, but you got Magin on the back hill, Kinstar still up there, and Brazil coming out on top as well with that 5th placement as well.
And then you have Skype we were talking about. He's been slowly slipping away actually out of the top 10, where 72 hours, he's actually been on his way up, taking his step by step up that ladder, currently at rank 11.
Okay, well, we've got to catch up with another man who's part of our team, and that's Stress, because he's with another man who's part of our team that we haven't heard from for a while. It's Adam Savage. What are you up to, guys?
All right, lads. All right, how's it going? I'm joined, as you said, now by our esteemed colleague, our fellow caster, Stress. Stress, what are you doing?
I was so hyped at the last game, I figured I'd come down here. Like, that end game, these end games today have been insane. This is what we live for.
It is. I mean, great transition, by the way. I love that transition. That was great. We're having a ball down here. Obviously, the audience here as well are loving every second of this. International event, best players in the world. And what an incredible production as well. Everyone is absolutely loving this online. How much are you enjoying being here as well?
I'm loving it, especially, as I said, some of these end games have been insane. right now, though, we're at that pivotal point in the tournament where we can still see somebody make a run. So even if your favorite player at home isn't yet in the mix, in the standings, like this is the moment where you can see somebody go on a tear. We've already seen players jump all the way up to the top early on. That can just as easily happen in the late game. So this deck is stacked. There's 100 players and really coming into it. So many of them you say, okay, yeah, that's who I predict to win.
I mean, we're all backstage and we're all jumping up every single play. We're out of our seats. We're going wild. Are there any players particularly for you that you want to see do better, or you want to kind of we want to see kind of take this home?
I think one that I want to see take it home, I think Yakos had a fantastic game in that game 4. There's a few players I'm pretty happy to see. Keenstar doing well, 72 Hours is up there as well. But as I said, like if your favorite player at home isn't yet being shown a lot on broadcast, isn't yet in the standings, don't worry. Like, it doesn't mean that they're out of it. This is the great thing about Fortnite is somebody can make a run in the back half of this tournament. They can come through, even if they aren't in that top 30, top 40 positions. There's still time.
Literally anything is possible, Stress. Audience, are you ready for the next game? Make some noise! They're ready to rock and roll, as are we. We can't wait. Mark, back to you, fellas. What an amazing Game 5 this is going to be.
Thank you very much, guys. Always good to hear from Stress and his thoughts on the tournament. We're going to have a look at the standings at the moment, though, gentlemen, because as you can see, the bus is almost ready to launch. And there's been some big changes in this top 10, maybe not from players having fantastic performances in the top 10, but it's kind of some players who were in that 10 to 20. They're having those big games, and they're pushing some of those players that were in that top 10 out of contention now.
Yeah, they're catching up real fast. As we mentioned earlier, 72 Hours. He's been slow and steady, playing the turtle game, just slowly munching his way through his competitors and grinding up.
Seen history, though. They're in the top 10. Viva Brazil, going to see some action from them. We talked about them being the top players from their region, and they're starting to show here, especially if they could come out with like a top 10 finish in solo, top 10 finish maybe tomorrow on in duo. They're looking very good to show the strength that the region does have.
Yeah, certainly going to be some Vamoses in the chat if we see some big performances from the Brazilian guys. You can see all the way down we go as well. Obviously, everyone's still trying to fight for those points. There's a lot of money on the line here for where you place. So even though we're always looking at those top spots, if you get into those placements where you pick up that money, every single spot that you're moving up is just a little bit more in the bank.
So keeping that in mind, there are these thresholds you need to hit to be into the money, right? 17th to 20th takes home 1,000. Then if you break through to 16th, you double up your actual money to 2K. Break through the top 10, you double yet again. And then 5th, 6th takes you to 6,000. You jump up by quite a bit every step thereafter. So if you want to maintain a position or get in a position to win some money, you got to start putting up some good games here because we're almost done with the day.
And this is the big turning point, isn't it? This game here, we've only got a couple of games left after this. So kind of all the mistakes that you might have made or all the games that haven't quite gone your way up to this point, you can't afford those now. This is where you need to put in those bomb performances, like we mentioned, to put yourself into contention for that title.
For sure. Like the last 20 people in this tournament are a real threat to the top 20, though. They're going to be a little bit tilted. They don't have any points. They're going to try desperately to grab at something. So our top contenders have to be careful of these loose elements that are now going to be put into the game.
Okay, well, we have a couple of questions, I believe, actually coming in from social media, possibly for you guys. So prepare yourself. We love putting you guys on the edge. We'll get those coming up as soon as we can. And, ooh, how many different weapons? Oh, no, it's not even social media. You guys are being put under the cosh here. How many different weapons are there currently in Fortnite? Is it A15, B18, C21, or D24?
What's considered
I love
weapon,
how,
right?
None of you pick one straight away,
What's
which is a
considered
fantastic
necessarily
start.
a weapon?
It's a great question, but yeah, I mean,
because the cannon's technically a weapon.
Yeah, but what about utility items? Do they count? Like,
you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be the first one out there. I'll do it. I'll go. I'll go 21.
21. Okay.
I'll go 21. We'll see.
It's been a lot of weapons. It's been a lot of weapons. I'm gonna go 24.
Best bit is, don't even know the answer. I haven't been told the answer.
Yeah, we're not gonna be told, which is great.
We'll find out as soon as we can. If you know, of course. Is it 21? Did you get it right?
Yep. I lost my pen, but I got it right.
God. You're going to be unbearable now, aren't you?
Yep, of course. You know me. You know me too well.
Let's not do that again, because Jason, if we pump him out anymore, he's gonna take my job probably at some point. Are you gonna?
Yeah, one day. I'm not quite at him. But no, I mean, there's a lot of weapons. I don't know if that included like Volta weapons or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a trick question. I feel cheated.
You know, it was a legitimate
I didn't answer
question.
it.
It was a good question, and the best guy on the desk got it right.
Okay, I've got another question coming in here, and this is a tweet coming in. Is which do you think matters more, mechanical skill or decision making or positioning, etc.? And that comes in from Tash, I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry, everybody, but you know, thank you for sending me. Tasheng. There we go.
Mind if I take this one? Well,
Please.
I think decision making is key. It really is. Look at me. Mechanically, I'm, you know, the worst. Let's be honest. Like, I'm very envious of all these top-tier players with their outstanding mechanical skills. But if you make the right decision at the right time and the right rotation, technically you don't have to face any enemies whatsoever. So decision making is always key.
I'm going to go a different route. I'm going mechanical skill. Because I feel like you can always learn decision making from experience, but to be a mechanical genius that just naturally knows how to make everything work for you can always play to your advantage.
True, but it can also make you cocky, like you, Jason.
What's wrong with being cocky? What's wrong with being cocky?
Did you lose your pen, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, he got carried away when he realized he got a question
I
right.
have no idea where it went, but you know what? I'm sure you'll get on your hands and knees to find it for me.
To the side. But obviously now, this is, as I say, no more room for mistakes for these guys. And I believe that we're ready to get into our round number 5, gentlemen. So Jason Kaplan and Zacubus, it's over to you for round 5.
All right, to kick things off, I want to start off with a question here, Zacubus, for you, while I try to find my pen in the meantime. My question to you is, if you're one of these players in a top position, do you go into these games trying to play passive, trying to play a different kind of style to make sure you can guarantee yourself those points into like the top 50? Or do you kind of play the way you've been playing this entire time?
It's really tough. It's really tough when you've got all this pressure on you to you know, make those decisions at the right time. The top tier players will make it in a fraction of a second. But I think for me, if I was in this situation, I would go as passive as I can, just try and gain as much placement as possible. If I've already got a significant point lead, play it safe, play it slow, and only take the fights that you need to take.
I completely agree with you. You know, it's not necessarily the flashiest of players or the coolest of players, but you know what? It's not about being the coolest. It's about getting in that top 10. It's about taking home the trophy and taking home the money. So let's see, you can already see Bizzle starting things off. Jarl and Yarkos, I mean, the man we've been talking about from Poland here, the wildcard player, who had no idea he'd be participating even to today when he's playing his match last week, has had a fantastic start and has the opportunity to take home a lot more money if he can break through out of 20th place.
Yeah, he's showing a great performance now. He's kind of warmed up to this crowd. He's got the home crowd behind him as well, and I think he's really stepping up to the challenge here.
Well, we can see Stompy might have some potential action coming his way. As Nate just going to be trying to farm up some metal here in the meantime. We see the Storm. It's not that far of a run for them, so not too much of a worry, but it seems like these players are playing a passive start here as we're into round 5. Again, realizing you've got to start stepping up now if you want to have a chance.
They just kind of want to farm, leave themselves alone as much as possible, and, you know, find the right fight that suits them. And Stompy actually has a great loadout, but missing that shotgun. Desert Eagle, I mean, the hand cannon even, is, you know, it's obviously been nerfed quite a bit, but it's still not bad. Does a lot of damage, I mean, 75, 150 for the headshot.
I know it's not the hand cannon, but I was watching Ninja last night playing with the scope pistol, and he was doing some serious work with that. So definitely cannot count the pistols out no matter what form they're going to be in.
Yeah, just you feel uneasy in those situations, though, not having that shotgun in that close range, and you've got so many opponents near you. You do feel kind of naked.
And see Myth going to be up against Nord. We saw Nord actually get relatively far in that last match, but he's going to have the pressure from a different kind of beast here coming his way. He's got the shotgun. He's got a really good loadout as well. A couple of clingers in there, a couple of traps to use if he does need.
Yeah, Myth taking the high ground here. He's just going to sit up here and wait for the right opportunity to attack. Going in aggressive on that pyramid. Will he get the edit? No, he's just playing it safe, trying to find the opening, trying to get that floor replaced down there so he can just hack away at his opponent. And here it comes. No, missed the opportunity. Good work from Noad. Gonna dart out on the low ground, turtle himself up a bit. Ooh, attempting a high ground retake, but Myth is way ahead of it. And Myth is now dropping down, gonna repeat the same process, try and find an angle to attack here, Jason, as he slows down a little bit.
Yeah, again, he doesn't have the best of kit Myth here to actually go for this fight. He's up against, I believe that was that blue pump out of nowhere, so he's gonna have to actually respect this. I'm actually curious why he's even taking this fight. Do you have any insights into this?
He could actually dip quite easily out of this right now. I mean, he's in a good position. He has the high ground. His opponent, you know, is gonna be not too aware of where he runs off to if he does it early enough, but that is a game changer right there with the clingers coming in. Opening up some more view sight there.
Bowman just took down Issa. So Issa was one of, I believe, our top 10 placers in the last round. Has been silenced so far. We've actually lost out on 10 players. Madsen as well is going to fall, with Poach getting the early elimination into game number 5. Nowhere again, trying to take that high ground position. He messes up his edit a little bit. Myth actually is going to fall into him. He has the SMG up close and personal. He's really going to have to shield this one away, pop down a couple of walls to protect him, but he's being chased down.
This is game over for Myth, surely. Oh no! The Klinger came out too late. The animation takes a while to go away, so obviously Noah has to play really carefully there. That was an epic mistake there from Noah. He had the fight sealed, and he let Myth get away with it.
Well, you can see Smeeth here again, the duel from Milan coming in last second. He's had a relatively good sort of start, I'd say, over the course of these 4 rounds. On round 5, you might have a little bit of a different problem with the Vic here, going to be on high ground, just trying to heal up in the meantime. Nowhere to miss, still going head-to-head. I am honestly amazed that both players have not backed away from this one, but Myth will eventually fall to nowhere. And Lolito has eliminated himself, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a very weird fight there, going in from Myth. I think he should have dipped out a little bit earlier, play it a little bit safe, but maybe he's trying to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. I respect the play, because I think he realizes he's towards like the lower half of the standings. You need to make something happen. You need to get some sort of momentum going on your side to really climb back up the rankings. So a respectable play, I'd say, hands down.
Yeah, and well played to Noah for actually taking that fight and actually claiming it in the end. He had the advantage with the weapons. I felt like he should have captured it a little bit earlier on.
Well, he almost messed up with the Klinger, right? I mean, he came around the corner of the Klinger expecting Mid to not face him, and that almost cost him his life.
The Klingers, they're great, and if you have the right opportunity, but throwing it in the open like that, when there's an opportunity to attack, you're exposed. You can't build, you can't switch weapon very quickly, so it was the right opportunity for Myth to come back in that fight.
By the way, Aydan did win out on a 1v1 over towards Tilted, so he's trying to make Tilted his own home ground. Milan is out, as you saw in the last few seconds there. Kahuna and Motor. Motor's teammate Eric. Fortunately, it's not alive anymore, as he's been falling relatively early. But I think this is an important tournament for him, for Eric Triceps. Just the fact of getting the experience of playing in front of an audience, playing on a stage, you know, get that under your belt. Definitely helps, because every player here is focused on duos right now, coming into the next 2 days. So get this, you know, get the bad games out of the way now, right, Zacchaeus, and then worry about the real ones tomorrow.
It's definitely a great warm-up, you know. It warms up your own, you know, mechanics. I think you have to be a little bit more mechanical when you're playing solos. There's more threats around you. You've got to quick and dive, dip out of fights all the time, and it puts a lot of pressure on players that aren't as mechanically gifted. But, you know, these guys, they're the top 100, so it's very rare that any of them are in
So you're agreeing with me about mechanically gifted is important?
Yeah, of course, it's always important. You always want a mix of both, Jason. You know, don't twist my words.
That is true. I'm sorry, I'm still just riding the high of, you know, being right with C with 21 weapons in the game.
That head is getting way too big on you.
Well, it'll match my nose, at least for me. Motor, in the meantime, still trying to look for some sort of avenue to fight. Again, he does not have a shotgun, so not the best position for him to be in. But again, I kind of think we're seeing the story of how these games are going. Even if you don't have the best weaponry, you need to make something happen.
It's going to be quite the stalemate here with Motor and Kuna. As you can see, the tomato chucking is happening.
Fantastic form as to see Motor.
It is. Well played, lads.
Great little overhand pitch. I think we clocked that one in about 90 miles an hour.
It'd be very interesting to see a Klinger play happen here. Chuck a couple of Klingers on the top of it, force the equation out. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think he's just happy to sit out the timer and rotate a little bit later, but we'll switch back to them maybe in a bit.
Glad you chimed in there, because I could not remember how many kilometers per hour 90 miles per hour is. Anyway, Zayt in the meantime, he's got the legendary Chug Jug here. He's got the shotgun. His kit is decent. He also has a launch pad to get away if he needs to. But look at that little edit coming through. He tags him up, but doesn't do that much damage to him. So now, gonna go for the Chug Jug. Tajovsky can hear this, but Tajovsky's not gonna go for the engagement just yet.
Tajovsky has to go deep in this. I think he needs to push this fight back. We've got a third contender coming up on the top. I believe it's the Korean player Shinu. And going in for Tajovsky. This is really bad. And Zayt managed to get off that Chug Jug, no problems.
Yeah. Surprised he wasn't pressured, actually, but I guess it was smart in the end, considering we had the third party come through. Sinnoh's going to be looking for that avenue. Maybe it's going to be above. Zayt, I think, is hoping Tajovsky's going to come in. Now it's a fourth party. It's actually going to be Envy. It's another meta player going to be coming in here to make something happen. As we see the dynamite coming through. Tajovsky's been able to disengage completely. We even have Marky in the general vicinity looking to come in as well. It's just coming down to a giant WrestleMania here.
This is a Battle Royale in its finest, and that's Envy. And oh, he just got lasered by his own teammate. This is desperate, and the Klingers are coming on the top. The sabotage from the Korean team here. They're knocking each other out. but that's just the way the world goes.
The way the cookie crumbles here in Fortnite as we still see the clingers coming through. Envy is going to be running around the corner yet again. Zay going to be shooting from the window. It seems like no one's going to be free at all in this situation here. But I think Zay's going to be happy in his position. He's still got some decent ammo.
Yep.
He's got the health to work with here. He's got other players fighting, so he's not the one to force to do so. Now he's just going to look to back away here and escape this.
Great move actually coming in there from Zay. Really, really good move. Just get out of that mess. It was getting a little bit too hectic. And oh, the shotgun exchange. Great timing then for Envy. As he went for the pickaxe play and the replace, he took a shotgun to the face.
So let's talk about that really quickly then. Because if you're in that situation, if you're Envy, forget about his health right now. You have those two plays, right? You can keep trying to replace your own ceiling over and over again, or you can go for the shot and give up control of that wall.
Mix it up. Keep doing the, you know, keep building, keep turbo building on that floor platform, and then when your opponent keeps doing it, relaxes a bit more into it, like you're not going to push out. That's the timing. Right. That's when you're going to trick him, give him the little 1-2 shotgun play. Well, it worked. You could not see how low Sinnoh was going to be here, and Envy still living to fight another day here in round 5. Surprised because we've had, was it 4 players here fighting? 2 have been able to get away. And it's just left to the Koreans now to see who gets crowned victor in this little skirmish. Is pushing in. This is going to end the equation surely right now, as Sinnoh is in the better position in terms of health. Can he find it? He does. Gets that long-awaited elimination. Well played. And finally he can resupply a little bit. Yeah. He desperately needed it, but is that Nowood coming in with the drift board above? Well, he's going to be coming in. Not sure if he's going to be able to pick up that elimination. Again, we see Tajovsky, Kuna, Motor, and Marky as well. Even Tixi. We have 5 players here currently. Just trying to buy some time here, though. In the meantime, looks like Marky wants to be the one to push up. Let me get a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more control. He's even using metal here, most importantly. And you can see a lot of players are already pretty much inside of the zone anyway, so it's not too big of a transition out of these players. Not too big of a rotation. Trying to look through the list if there's anyone kind of key within the top 10 that has been dropped. And generally, as we expected, top 20 players are, for the most part, alive. Yep, still rocking it safe. All to play for still in this tournament. Ares and Item. Oh, Item's just playing it real cool down low, but oh, Vivax comes in. Vivax comes in, does take some damage. Was that somebody shot him? I think it was Ares coming in with some damage. X8's taking down Yarkos, so he's going to be out of this fight. He won't have a chance to continue his ranking up to the 29th. For this 1v1v1 battle now breaking out here. This is an opportunity for Item, to be honest. If he can find the right timing on both of these players to get those crucial last hits, he's going to be in a golden position. Item is actually doing incredibly well in the leaderboard, making at least top 6 right now. Yeah, he's number 7. Incredibly consistent. I think he's held that position for about 3 rounds now. And he's done it kind of quietly, funny enough. Ares, he's going to fall from this as Villax gets his elimination on the board here. Jesse, in the meantime, looking to get aggressive here with the Stink Bomb. Saipan is going to be his prey, potentially. And you're hearing a couple of shots being routed off here. And he's actually being shot from behind down to 46 health. He actually drops back into him, and he's going to fall from that aggressive play. Jesse going to be eliminated by Saipan, who's going to be more than happy to have that third-party assist come through. Zapan showing what the EU's made of. The Oceanic region are suffering a little bit in the solos. I was hoping for them to be the underdog story here. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Fato taking some AR shots. We're back on Sinnoh. 1 by 1 in the low river here. Rotated in. I think he's just going to want to play it cool here. He has that rift to go. He's going to want to save that. But he's lacking a lot of shield there. Yeah, but we know how it works here with the Siphon system. Just get that elimination. Can get some shield built up for you. A lot of dynamite here for Saipan. As the storm does start to close around. It's actually the circle between Shifty and Tilted along the river, as you can mostly see here on the minimap. Meantime, Stompy and Power. Potentially going to have a little bit of skirmish here too, Zachabas. Yeah, I think Stompy's going to be okay there. I think he's just going to hold his ground, wait a little bit. Going for the run now. Trying to find a better rotation here. He's already in the circle, but I think he just wants to get more central for that next circle. That's what he cares about here. Get away from Power as much as possible. He's taken a couple of AR shots from the Na'Vi boys, which happen to be right next to each other, so that's going to be an interesting skirmish. Ken Star, as you can see, still alive. Kripa as well. Dementos, 72 hours to the left-hand side of your screen. Smeeth
is in here still as well. And Sap, who's had such a rough solo tournament so far after his second place finish at the Secret Skirmish. Looking to change his stars here as he does take down Crazy Llama.
Hopefully he can get these last 2 games under his belt, get some momentum, and maybe have a surprise rise to the top. But you never know. History are 5th place at the moment, doing really well for Brazil right now.
All right, well, you got Kinstar in a high position. You got Poach across the river here as Nate's there as well, up close and personal. 72 hours trying to edge his way in closer to this skirmish. History's under some pressure now, being tagged up quite a bit. Down a 66 shield left.
Yeah. I think he was actually getting lasered from the side there too. Bit of third-party action coming in. Crippler, you know, just showing off some moves, you know, playing it slow again. He knows that History's not going to try and push into him, especially when he just took that damage. The play has slowed down a lot, but the zone has not.
Well, History, the zone, speaking of, it's actually going to close in right behind him, so he will be fine for now. But I think he's going to have to make a move momentarily. Kinstar still sitting quietly in his humble abode here, built up. And Sweep's looking to transition a little bit closer towards where the next zone will be.
Dynamite coming in to change the equation from above. Keenstar chucking it in from distance onto Cripper. Big damage coming in, but only to builds. History and Cripper managed to separate in their own directions and going to play it a little bit safe and not wanting to do anything, but Keenstar is having none of it. He wants to catch up after that last game. He's dropped down to 2nd place now, and now it's looking to get some elimination points on the go.
We have lost both Na'Vi players, though. Aspect able to clean up Alpha, and Aspect's been having a very rough match. History actually turns around and gets Dementos, so that 1v1 that's happening for is not really going to come into fruition just yet. And look at Andiza. That position over towards the top of the mountain. I mean, he's going to have to move eventually. But still, he's able to laser down on quite a few players transitioning on the rotation.
Probably has a redeploy or some form of movement tool that can help him get across the map, no problem. But Keenstar does not. He's naked here, running through the river. But luckily, everybody is rotating a little bit early here in the circle, and he's got away with it so far.
See Svenos and Aydan here still alive on top of things. Jarl just trying to get out of this rough spot as we do see a lot of things being thrown in his direction with the dynamite. Svenos looks like he wants to use the rift here, and he will actually pop this one off, so not going to save it for later on. But again, realizing he needs to have a easier rotation instead of taking too much damage, losing too much materials.
Everybody was trying to dive into that rift. It got a little bit hectic. Aydan then was forced to use his jump pad instead. Very interesting. Svenos didn't even try to make any form of movement in terms of just running through the ground, you know, gaining ground through natural causes. He decides to go with a safe play with a rift. Obviously, you want to save it as late as possible for, you know, that high ground control later on. But, you know, he'd rather not take any early damage.
Well, and Deez, as we pointed out before, on that high ground of the mountain, has been eliminated. So it looks like his rotation did not go successfully. But Item, you already pointed out before, Zacchaeus, he's still alive here on the low ground, currently in 7th place overall in the standings. He's in the money, currently sitting at $4,000 in his pocket. But Saf, that's the man I really want to see. This is the man I had pitted to win the whole thing when it comes to solos. He's got that one elimination and almost has that second.
Yep, I saw your predictions on Twitter, but it seems like it might not come to fruition unless things can change up here for Saf. Unless he can kick up the pace here. Really desperately, he's going aggro here on Smith. He knows he's low. And oh, that's heartbreaking. Unfortunately, his elimination was just removed from him as somebody else comes in with a third party and snatches it away.
Unfortunate for him, but I still think he'll be happy to just live to fight another day. We can see the rift being used. Vato jumps in as well. I think Kinzo's going to go here and maybe hop into it too, or maybe just protect it a little bit more to bait anyone in. Demo, not in the best position, as you can see him on the left-hand side of your screen. But we see the circle. It's going to be actually moving away from the mountain. It'll be partially in it, yes. The majority of it is over towards the valley of that river. So high ground going to come in very key here. You do not want to fight in that water.
Got to be really careful with your map control here. We've got a supply drop coming in here on Chap. This is a godsend, providing those stickies don't knock him down. And they don't. Luckily, he's okay. He was a little bit cautious there, obviously so. But here's where it's really important, Jason. This is where you need map survival skills. You need to save them as long as possible, especially with a mountain that could potentially be in the final circles.
And Chap only has 3 builds left too, so he's got to hope for something really good inside of this supply drop. Hope for some eliminations. Speaking of elims, Blood X long-range shotgun Not going to net him any damage, but he's going to have to start to rotate here into the circle momentarily. 47 players left alive here in round 5. He's actually going to head to the outside of the zone for the launch pad. So nice little usage, though the problem is he's down to 29 health.
He took a lot of damage, but that should guarantee him a spot to land in the circle, providing that he's not focused while he is in the air. Again, a lot of clingers coming out down onto Kaiser there. But I think he's going to be okay. I think he dipped back into a little bit deeper of his build.
It's starting to feel like this game we might have a repeat winner. We still got Keemstar alive. I believe we do have Aim Hero still alive as well. Bizzle's still going to be in there, who won our round 1. Even potentially looking for an edit up here as the Storm now going to be moving up towards the northeast side. He's actually going to be spotted out. Does get knocked down, but he has the 2 eliminations for himself. Jules has fallen, so that was game 3 winner.
This is massive for Bizzle right now. He needs to maintain this good passive play until that late game, and it's going to kick off on this next circle. It's one hell of a run, Jason, as they have to come off the hill, I believe. So Bizzle hopefully has the items. I think he did have a jump pad as well, so we'll see how he uses it here.
There we go, Rift's being used. BloodX trying to push in from the high position. Bizzle, yep, jump pad, like you said, going to be using this to actually get across a little bit closer to the Storm and go to where their buildings have already been used before. So he can maintain the high ground. Look how much material he has to still build with here. That's something we talked about now all day, and how good he is at maintaining his materials when we get to these later edges of the game when you need to be able to maintain high ground position.
Margin's caught out at the backside of the circle, rotating in a little bit late, wasting a lot of mats here. This could be potentially bad for him a little bit later on in the game.
Oh my gosh, everyone is trying to fight for that high ground spot. You can see Aydan trying to defend it as Bizzle's going to be here on top of things as well. He's still got the shotgun to use. Stompy's now down. Item's going to be out of this one. So that 7th place he currently does have could change a little bit, though. I don't think it would change too much now with him dropping a little bit early on. But Vato, he's got the ultimate high ground here, Zacchaeus.
He does, and what a good position to be in, but has to be careful. Margin on his tail there, but is getting knocked back down. Good work from Vato, putting the pressure on, pushing him down further into the builds. And there we have Liquid Vivid getting knocked out.
Yeah, Bizzle got him on that. Chap's going to fall as well. Seth's out of this one. Great little shot out of Vato to maintain his position with his first elimination in this round. Now, under that belt, Morgan, as you mentioned before, he's still here. He's still fighting. He's still looking to transition to stay safe here. The Vic going to back away to go into a rift, so now he'll be on the high ground safe for a while. Saf going to be on the low ground. As you can see, he has Mitro off to his side to potentially force a fight.
Bizzle's still in this. He's going big. He's going for the high ground. No, he's dipped out. He's going to try and knock his opponent down. Vato in a bad position, but now pressure coming in from Bizzle from all sides. He has to slow down his aggression and find another way to claim that high ground.
He's used basically 100 builds since we last talked about him. That's how crazy things have been with him trying to maintain or trying to get a high ground position. You see Vato, 58 builds left for him. Saf has fallen to Mitro this time. And Mitro going to be looking for a top 10 finish potentially. Aspect going to be low on the low ground as well.
Margin, our 3rd place, in a really bad position here. He's going to go down. Oh, I believe that was Funk Bomb that actually claimed that one there. And that is devastating for him. Obviously holding the 3rd place. And there's still a load of people to play for here.
I was just about to mention that Jordan, we still have some Aussie hope, but he was eliminated by Aydan here as you see him on the screen, trying to battle for the high ground side. Vato, he's still there. He's still got 33 builds left. He's going to be running out. He's going to have a challenge, though. It's going to be Scram trying to look for this elimination somehow. Vato, how can he fight back from this one? He still has some shield he could pop here with the small shields, but he needs the time.
He needs the space. Aydan, I think this is the latest circle that we've ever seen him at. Usually an early game warrior, but really providing. But Bizzle now out of mats, Jason.
He's out of mats. He's got to find some sort of avenue back into this one. And just like that, he gets the elimination. He gets some damage done with Vato, but he's going to fall himself, eliminating himself out of the fight here in round 5. Scram. Now he's going to be the one on the high ground with just a couple players left alive. Aydan, as you mentioned before, he's still here. He's still fighting. He's in the storm at the moment. I don't think he's about to get back into this one, so eventually he will fall. But Mitro's there, and Mitro has another limb. Aydan has fallen. And so is Mitro.
Yeah, Mitro's going out big right now. He's been a bit of a surprise. This is a classic Mitro. He always seems to find himself hidden in the middle of this mess and come out on top. And this is his game to take right now.
You see Scram, 3 eliminations. He's got high ground position 2. It's going to be Black Shoe and the Vic. We're definitely going to have a new victor here coming into round 5. You would imagine these two on the bottom side are going to have to battle out against each other to try to transition out with the Storm. Black Suit almost being walled off completely as he's trying to just stay healthy or trying to stay out of that damage that's going to be taken away. The Vic down to half HP as well. Scram, thing is, like, he's in this position where he could potentially shoot down, could fight, but there's so much building everywhere, he doesn't have a clean shot.
Black's at the very bottom of this build. Scram has the great high ground here, and now it's just going to build towards the circle, play it slow, find the right shots here. He just has to play this So smooth and so slow, Jason.
Yeah, he's almost at a disadvantageous position up because he does have his opponent with a lot more HP. He's not able to hit that first shot. 12 builds, 10 builds remain. He's in the storm. He's taken damage. He jumps in. He's going to catch himself midair with 7 builds left to go, but he's down to about 77 HP now, down to 37. And the shots from below won't matter because it looks like the storm has done the damage anyways. And we will see Scram take his first victory royale.
Wow, that was absolutely insane. I can't believe it. Scram finding that at the end there, and what was really weird is that I seem to have lost Mitro altogether at one point.
Yeah, he did. When Aydan did fall to the storm, he fell right after. So a little bit unfortunate he wasn't able to stay alive longer, but hey, we have 5 rounds now done. We have 5 different victors across the board. It's really anyone's game. It really is right now.
The Swiss are doing very, very strong here. Kinstar, Scram now showing and representing the Swiss nation. Good to see.
Yeah, good to see another winner on the board here. Every single player in this lobby seems to have the capability to pull off the victory royale. And as we go on in these rounds, and we have now 5 rounds done, that means that consistency is starting to become even more important. It's not about the victory royale so much because they're being spread among so many players. It's about those top 5 placements, the eliminations as well. It's going to really start coming down to the wire. I think when we do get a chance to check out the leaderboards again, there's going to be some big shifts once more.
Definitely going to be some upsets. I mean, there was a lot of people that made it to that late game. Obviously, Bizzle was doing incredibly well, and also Magin as well, showing and performing to the late game. What that changes, we'll have to wait and see.
And I want to talk about Aydan a little bit as well, because you mentioned it, Zacubus. Not a player sometimes that we see in the solos making those late game runs, but big eliminations from him again, made it into some decent placements. Although he, coming into this game, didn't have the best placements, he's obviously put himself in contention. But it's enough about Aydan for right now, because we've got to talk about the winner of our last game, picking up the victory royale. Adam is down on the stage with Scram.
To which... Hey, thank you very much. I'm just hearing in my ears, actually. I'm getting a rundown of the points. I'm here with Scram right now. He is, I mean, we've just been talking off camera there. This feels amazing to you. You're kind of shaking. Tell us how you're feeling emotionally right now.
I'm so happy. I can't express it. I'm shaking so much right now. It's so intense, the games we're playing right now. It's crazy competition.
I'm hearing right now that I think you've gone up to 3rd position in our leaderboard, which is insane. Congrats, man. You can see how healthy you are. Tell us about the game itself. What was it like playing in it? It looked utterly nutty. It looked crazy to be part of it. How did it feel to actually play that?
Of course, you got to think a lot about what you do and how you rotate. There's people everywhere. Like, all these players are really, really good, and everyone can win this game. So you got to think a lot about how you rotate and where not to get shot. And yeah, I guess high ground is just OP as well. That's about it.
It's all about the high ground, baby. You know, as well, we were talking to the guys upstairs, we're talking all about strategy at this point in the competition. Only a couple of rounds to go now. Strategy-wise, do you keep doing what you're doing, or do you change things up towards the end?
I keep doing what I'm doing. It works out for me, and it's just don't fight mid-game. That's what I learned from some of the test games and some of these games as well, because you'll just get screwed no matter what. So, yeah.
Now you've got some wind in your sails as well. You're coming off the back of that Game 5 victory. I'm going to ask you, Scram, do you think you can go all the way to the victory, to this trophy?
Yes, obviously.
There we go. Guys, give it up again for Scram! Congratulations, buddy. Unbelievable, unbelievable scenes here. Let's head back to Mark. Guys, Game 5, what an absolute beauty.
Great stuff there from Scram. And I got you, Adam. You've got to pay attention. I got you. I'm sorry about that. I'll make it up to you later. But, yeah, Scram there, obviously the biggest smile we've probably seen on anyone's face, picking up that victory royale. And you can see what it's done to his placements. He's moved. He's fired up the leaderboards now.
And that's what you were saying before, right? The fact that no one's won back-to-back victory royales, the fact that we haven't had that one player who's been dominating the entire time means any big game you have makes things even more crazy when it comes to standing. This thing is, we're 5 rounds in, and there's no clear victor at all. There's no clear gap between the top 10, the top 20. Yep. I think we're going to go into round 7 and honestly still not know or have a good prediction of who's going to win.
What's insane about it is that it just shows you how consistent these players are, but are completely under that radar until those big step-up moments like that, like Scram just did. And, you know, what's really interesting right now as well is that there are some upsets as well in terms of the points and how they're going and moving up. So we're going to see some really interesting things when we see the scoreboards.
Well, we can obviously going to see some replays of that round that we just seen. Round number 5, obviously full of excitement once again. But round 5, I mean, I can't believe how quickly these rounds have gone past, gentlemen, as we see some of this action, because we've only got 2 rounds left to play. And I think you've touched on a great point there. We talked about how you can't make mistakes now, but now you have to put in that big performance. It's not just about putting in a decent performance now. With the pack being so tight, we have to see a huge performance. We have to see someone take the ball by the horns and step up and win this thing.
I think players are going to feel mistakes way more right now than they will have earlier on. If you make a mistake here into round 6, when you're, potentially in your top 20 position, that's 0 points. You're not going to move at all. Actually, no. Technically, you won't move at all. You'll move down. You won't move up, but you'll move down the rankings quite far. So I feel like there's even more pressure to play more passive in that early game if you're one of these players that could potentially make it into the money.
Yeah, and the people that are just a little bit, in the top 11, they're going to want to step up their game. When they come into these final 2 rounds, they might want to leave the area with at least 2 eliminations, get some more points on the board. Of course, playing for the late game is always important, but sometimes desperate measures.
All right, guys. Well, fantastic stuff as always. 5 rounds down now. Only 2 more to go. It is still all to play for. It is set up beautifully, gentlemen. When we get back, we'll have our game number 6. Don't go anywhere.
Thinks you can't get a last-second clutch? Watch this. Think he can't carry his team while streaming in high resolution? All the while recording a once-in-a-lifetime win? Watch this. Think leveling up only happens in-game? Watch this. On Intel Core i7, they'll rise to every challenge. Now it's your turn. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Why are you watching me when this could be you?
This is so you.
Classic you. And this could be us.
This is all waiting for you. PS4 for the players.
ESL Katowice Royale, featuring Fortnite, is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, and PlayStation 4.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Katowice Royale. 5 games done, 2 to go, and very much all still to play for. The leaderboards could not be tighter, and there is still no decided winner. So what we're going to do now is, before we get into our last 2 games, we're going to find out a little bit more about our players. We had a little bit of fun with them earlier, and we saw how much they know about each other. So let's check it out.
I'm gonna say yes to that.
Yes.
Nope.
He said yes first, but then he's never practiced it, so he said no. Correct?
Nice. Yep.
Yes. I think that he doesn't get tilted easily, but he might get tilted because of like some things sometimes, so I'll say yeah. Like he gets tilted about some things easily, but not everything. So yeah. No? Okay, see, I was wrong, but I was right at the same time, kind of.
Yeah, he does. I'm gonna say no, he doesn't.
No. Never.
Never.
All right then, guys. Obviously, communication, very important. Teamwork, very important. And we can see some of our duo pairings there, maybe not knowing quite as much as we might have thought they did about each other.
He was right, but he wasn't right. But he was right. He was right, definitely.
I'm confused.
I think we're all confused. I think we're all confused. And one thing that isn't too confusing at the moment is the fact that anyone can still win this thing today. We've got so many players still involved, so many players still within striking distance. The term we've used quite a lot in the last few days. Who could win this? I mean, the 2 that you wanted to talk about are the 2 at the top of the leaderboards who have been trading places, of course, in Bizzle and Magic.
Yeah, Bizzle, Magic trading places, trading blows all throughout the standings. They were... Bizzle was in second the first game, then he dropped out. Now he's coming back. He's actually in first now, and he's up against Magin in second. And really, this is what solidifies the last game, right? Going into this, everybody in the top 10, top 15 still has a chance, right? They could still have 2 monster games and come back. But after this game, it's all down to the 1 more, right? And that's all you can do. So the top 5 is pretty much going to be solidified.
You know what's interesting to me is if you look at the top 5 with Bizzle, Magin, Scram, Funkbomb, and Vinny, only one of those players actually has a victory out under their belt over the course of these 5 rounds. So that's really showing how this format, how these eliminations, and how the placing of consistently getting into these top 10 situations is really going to affect your overall location.
And Funkbomb and Vinny, 2 players there who, you know, Vinny we kind of highlighted before the last game as sort of creeping his way up there, but Funkbomb's done something very similar. Baller. He's found his way into that conversation, that top 5, and another big game from him, Ed, that maybe a victory royale at this point in the tournament, timing it right, that could be huge for him now.
Same thing with Scram. Obviously, it's different, right? Funkbomb is kind of playing consistently in terms of placement. Scram kind of just had a big game last one. And the other guy I want to touch on as well is Vivid coming through. He was all the way in 60th or something like that after our first 2 games. He's up to 15th right now, and we'll see if he's going to be able to go all the way through there.
We saw Aydan moving up a lot of places as well after he got to the end game there. I think he picked up 5 eliminations as well in that last game. So it's not just the top players we talked about as well who are obviously vying for that top spot. We're talking about players moving up the placements, moving up those money placements as well.
I think it's important to remember, though, a lot of these players aren't really, well, I think there's a number of them who aren't really solo players. They're more of team players, more of duo players. And they're obviously going to be focused on to tomorrow's games to when those duo matches kick off. So we're seeing, I mean, if you're Bizzle, who does well in solos and duos, you're obviously going to be happy about it. But I feel like we can't necessarily take some of these rankings too harsh. I think when we get into tomorrow and Sunday is when we're really going to see who's the best of the best.
And I think you're going to see all these players as they're setting up at the moment, getting ready for this penultimate game of the day in the solos competition as well. Maybe there's not as many smiles as we saw at the start of the day. Everyone's kind of like focusing up now and thinking, I've just got to deal with the job in hand.
It's all seriousness. Like I said, this is really the last game to solidify your opportunity for that first place. Another guy as well, history, one of those Brazilian players, he's in 6th. He has that opportunity. He's had a big game. He needs another one, really.
And here we go then, gentlemen. For the penultimate time today, Katowice, I want you to get behind these players as well. Make some noise for them as we go into our round number 6.
All right, thank you very much, on set. And yes, Ball, our first time casting together, and will we have for the first time a second victory off for one of these players? Bizzle obviously going to be one of the players who's really focusing on potentially getting one of these and really solidifying that spot in number 1.
Yeah, here he is in Dusty Divot. This is a secret to success. Myth taking out Norwood, and actually Funk Bomb going down in the feed as well. He's in, I think he's in 4th right there.
Well, he was. I don't think he's going to be there anymore after that. We talked about him as really climbing up the standings and all of a sudden shooting up into top 5. But with that elimination, he's going to be hurt.
Yeah. And here, we're actually just looking at the map all around. We talked about Bizzle. He's uncontested in Divot. That's one of his strengths. When he is uncontested there, really doing well. But Tilted actually had something like 6 players there. So we're really starting to see things heat up. A lot of players starting to mix it up and go for it, those kind of risky drops.
I mean, the thing is, you're obviously a very highly competitive player and a very good player. If you're in this kind of tournament, are you looking at this, if you're not in top 50 or even in top 40 with arm grasp of the top 20 position, are you trying to spoil people's chances by trying to get aggressive and trying to maybe contest their spots that they normally wouldn't expect someone to be there?
No, definitely not trying to spoil if I'm not in contention, but I am trying to still get into contention for that, for that money, or for that prize regardless, up into that top 20. That's where I'm trying to reach. And going Tilted is a way to do that, right? Remember, there's 2 games, and outside of the top 20 is really not, it's always volatile. And we saw that in the Polish event. It's very, very volatile because people aren't scoring points every single game.
And you can kind of play like you've got nothing to lose almost at that sense of...
Exactly.
If we can't, if I can't break top 20, then let's just go ham and go crazy. Kilos, in the meantime, going to get a couple of clingers here, potentially going to trade out that infantry rifle, which he will do just that. Jarko, so man, we've been talking about a ton, has had a relatively quiet last match. Looking to obviously change his stars here to get it to
so good here. Hardcore's just completely obliterating the bottom floor of that treehouse there, or of that, yeah, the treehouse. And now he's on to Jaro. Let's see if Jaro can come back from the back foot here. He did escape that basement. That was really strong, really smart from him.
He's got the shotgun. He's got an opportunity. He does get the replace. Gets the shy. He's on a 5 HP though. And he will pay the price.
That's the end of Hardcore's there. We're talking about how he was clawing his way into the standings. And now over towards the desert, and Diza on the edge.
He just recently picked up an elimination. I didn't see who it was on to, but an elimination nonetheless. And he's got a pretty decent K, at least in terms of weapons. So we could use some healing items here.
We'll see. Now, all the early game action is starting to really heat up. We'll see if any of the other hot spots like Retail, Tilted, Paradise are all starting to finish up. But here's Nikov. Nikov was one of our leaders early as well, and now it's Fox on the camo. Camo in that shifty shafts. The house is right on the edge. It's all camo right now. Fox trying to heal up, and he does actually connect. You saw him place the wall and the floor there to connect it in 2 different spots. Camo working on it, but Fox with the nice edit there.
That tac shotgun's gonna need to do some serious work here. As just gonna have the SMG there back. You see him trying to pop his big shield here the best he can. The tac shotgun comes in, but hey, the tac shotgun's not as good as the pump. And Camo with the disrespect as well. He gets the elim.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Whenever you're going up against a pump with no shield, it can always change right in a blink of an eye, and that's what's gonna happen. But here, Kilis in the Stompy, in that Frost.
He's in the stink. He's in the stink down to 27 HP. He's trying to turbo build as well to stop himself from being eliminated. Not trying to edit his way out, which he does get some distance, but distance won't get you free here. Stompy, 104 HP, is looking just for a different angle to fight with, and maybe this is opportunity to actually just back away for now. I think as he wants this elimination, even some clingers being thrown into, I don't know why, if you're Kilos, you're to do that.
Yeah, Kilos there, when he was stunk, he had the campfire going, so he realized he could just back off, but he's got to be careful now. He can come through the top, Stompy, that is, and he's on the back foot. But one of the things that impressed me so much about these players at Frosty Keolis took out Nate Hill with such an impressive fashion. He's really good out of a box.
Here we go, trying to edit above him. You can see that he's just expecting it to be there too, trying to potentially back away the trap being thrown down. It will halt the push out of Stompy, who eats a hell of a lot of damage there, now down to 57 HP, being forced to pop these small shields as Keolis might use this opportunity to get aggressive, might use this opportunity to actually catch him off guard.
He's so low. He's only at 2 HP right now. And they're actually both so low. One shot could make a difference here in this fight. And again, Keolis is so strong out of that box. He's bandaging up. Actually, Stompy right now running out of ammo, so I think he might decide to back up. He can still do this with this loadout. Oh, actually finding the stinks. This could be huge, Jason.
It could be, if he can just catch on Keolis locked into that building here. He does take the high ground. He's actually above him with the stink bomb. It's not going to connect onto Keolis, though, unfortunately. He won't see the damage ticks. He knows that Keolis is safe for now. In the meantime, those bandages that Keolis was able to get with his transition to that second floor has got him back fairly decent in HP.
Yeah. And there, Stompy trying to find him there with the stinks. He's not going to be able to. They do have the zone, so they have plenty of room to fight here for the remaining time. He still can use these stinks to kind of just find out where he is, right? If he gets one tick, even if it's only one tick, that's the information he needs to know exactly where he is.
And what's so funny, this fight's been going on for so long, and yet we've had no eliminations really around the board from anyone else. Aspect, unfortunately, has fallen to Seth there. And Keolis, I don't know how he's still fighting away from this one. He was down to 2 health, and he's back up to 75, and he might have an opportunity to turn this around on Stompy's head as Stompy's looking to find him yet again. The thing is, time is taken away, and time that you're fighting is time you're not farming materials, it's not picking up weapons, not getting more ammo, which you're still going to be low on.
That's a very good point, Jason. And also, actually hopping in, Imagine is in a fight right here on the edge of Loot Lake. I'm hoping this isn't his teammate. No, it's Envy and Lil J. A lot of the Asian players in this area right now.
Oh, some dynamite thrown in.
We actually saw Lil J's teammate do exactly the same thing with a grenade launcher early on in the game. And really, he just likes to force the issue for other players, right? Envy versus Imagine. He's like, guys, fight. Come on, I want you to fight so I can just take shots at you.
Let me help you guys force an elimination so I can come in and steal one away. He actually was interrupted while I was using the legendary Chug Jug. He's eventually going to get it off, though it seems after about 15 seconds of time. So he will have that 200 HP to work with. He still does not have a pump shotgun, though. And he knows there's 2 players here in the vicinity that he has to really respect and be careful of.
Actually, Imagine is one of the only players I know who really prefers the tac shotgun. I've watched him a lot. I haven't watched him recently, but always preferring that tac shotgun just because of the rate of fire, I guess, in terms of that.
My man. My man. I'm all about that. I don't have the aim that some of these kids here playing do have.
Jason's
I'm more of a
tac boy.
Yeah, I'm more of a brain player, and well, when your brain's as small as mine, you're not really doing much playing, I guess. Rizart, in the meantime, going to be up against SSK7.
It's a risky peek there, the left shoulder. He's got to be careful. Oh, and he does manage to actually switch the peek onto Rizart. Takes him out. Nice play there from SSK7. But he's in the zone. He has to find a way out. Again, we see all these players fighting in the zone right on the edge sometimes. They always need to have a plan to get back into the zone. We'll see what he decides to do. But again, only ticking for 1. He has the opportunity there. This is still a stalemate here.
And now Morgan's like, all right, I'm going to just sit here and let you 2 fight it out since Lil J's been the one just interrupting our skirmish.
But it's an issue for Imagine, right? Because actually, Envy has taken a position that's going to pinch Imagine between Lil J and Envy. So nice play there by Envy. But Lil J says, actually, no, I don't want to duo up on Imagine. I just want to make this a nice, even fight. Let's be a gentleman. And he takes some shots on Envy. Again, scary position there for Imagine.
Yeah. I think as you can see, Lolito as well, still going to be potentially coming in here in a moment's time. Zeke, one of our Polish players, does get the shot, gets the elimination.
What a shot there from Zeke. Just drops down and immediately takes it to the face there. Nice play. SSK7 goes down. That's one of the other issues about going on the zone. People can stay in, and I think Zeke actually ran ahead of them and managed to take him out there when he came through.
So I think Morgan's taken some damage. He's lost some shield.
Yeah.
Envy, we saw, took a couple of shots from Lil J just from across the way here just a little bit earlier on as well. So it seems like everyone is fighting everyone here in this little 3-way skirmish.
Really tough position, especially because he has 2 players who don't have any intention of moving. Fortunately for them, the zone is not that far. It is all the way towards Tilted, so they have to get across the lake. And Chat here grabbing a rift. He's low on HP, but that's going to be okay. Just have those 2 big pots. If you can find something to heal back up in terms of what we call white health, and he's going to be in good shape for the end game.
And again, he has push though.
But imagine he spots the launch pad, I think, that this other player had, and now it's Envy versus Lil J.
I think Lil J got a little impatient here. He wants the elimination. He wants to get 1 on the board in round number 6. Going to be popping one of the small shields. He's going to be knocked down before he can even get this one off, so he's going to be forced to build back up here. 42 builds left to go.
That's his opportunity to escape there. As soon as those players fought, Magin just was waiting for that. He was saying, okay, when can I go? And he's actually going to find the launch pad from Lil J here that he used to actually engage there. He's going to take a few shots and then get out of here. That's Magin's idea right now, as those players are not going to be able to do anything to Magin.
Do it.
There is a launch pad nearby for these guys, so they have the escape plan, but this fight needs to end now.
I want to see him almost go in there and fight them, actually. In the meantime, Lil J trying to transition across the water. Like I said, Morgan has backed away from this one, so he gets a little bit lucky from being in the pincer position. He does get himself away, and Envy has won the battle. Yeah,
Envy taking it there. Actually, so just a little note on the Chinese scene. They do play a little bit of a different format where eliminations are very, very heavily incentivized. So that's kind of the style that they play over there, making sure they get those elims, making sure that they hold as long as possible for the opportunities there. And now you can see everybody spread around the zone. Let's see Animal's still up. Vinny's up. Who else is in contention right now?
You got Vivid still alive. You got Mizo in there as well. Bizzle, Demo, a lot of players
Magin still up. Obviously, we saw him get away.
Oh, we're going to see Lama here. One of our Japanese players. I think one of our 2 Japanese players, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, him and his teammate Rizart. One of the 2 Japanese players here. Lama, we see a little bit more than Rizart. We saw Rizart I think he was eliminated by SSK7 earlier.
Yeah, and then SSK7 did fall right after that. Vinny, though, that's definitely one of the players who's currently ranked 5 at the moment. He fell from 1st to 5th in the last round. He needs to have a good game here.
Yeah, Vinny is one of the players who's doing the most in terms of getting eliminations in the end game. He's always getting towards that end game, and he's always finding tons of elims. We haven't seen much of him on our feed, but he is doing so well with that.
Let's see,
Imagine again.
He still just seems, wherever he is, there seems to be always someone fighting in his direction.
And that's going to be rough for him, especially if they realize he's there. He's actually trying to get over to him, but no, he's going to get shot right back. And Imagine takes advantage, actually. He might decide to push. He kind of has to push. Look at his materials, Jason. He's kind of running it low. So he knows his player's low. He's going to push all the way under. See what he can do on the, he's in zone. That's very important. And he actually gets in his box.
He's in the zone, but the thing is, he still has only the attack. Does he have the damage to take down Skix here? Or sorry, Miz right above him.
Might do. Just got to be careful with the edits. He did pick up a little bit of mats. That's going to buy him a little bit more time. But if he does not take out Miz, and if he does not have mats for him, or any sort of loadout, but look who's lurking in the back. It's Envy. And he's again going to bring it to them.
Took that Little J.
There it is. Imagine got it. That's very important.
Stop celebrating. There's more people. You're not safe yet. I know you want to dance. We still got Envy here who's coming back for seconds. He's coming back to finish off what he started earlier on. I think Morgan immediately notices this and does start to focus up here because he needs this elimination, especially with his position at number 2. If he wants to dethrone Bizzle and take that first place away, he's going to need this elim. He's going to need to escape this one.
They're both holding edits with the box in between. You can see Envy doing a little bit of flip in the background, starting to throw the tomatoes. It's a dance-off, Jason. But
the breakdance fighting.
Oh, my goodness. So, Imagine is not getting let go. Actually, here comes Envy. He says, maybe I do want to push this. But I think it's the point in time where people are starting to realize that third circle's starting to close. They're starting to realize there's so much congestion getting all around. There's actually less players than we would be used to. Just trying to replace that wall down now.
Well, you heard Scram earlier on in the interview with Adam. He was saying he learned to not fight mid-game. Yeah. There's almost no point for him to do it because if you fall here, you're out of the top 50. You're out of points.
But one of the things, though, they're in a box on low ground. And because of this, nobody else can really tell that they're actually fighting. So Imagine here. Really, nobody's letting him go. He's just going to continue to dance, try to dance him off. Say, go away, man. I don't want to fight you. Come on. You already chased me one time in Loot Lake. Come on, man.
Well, speaking of chasing, Kinstar has been chasing back for a top position since he fell earlier on when he did have number 1 winning round 2. Yeah. If you're just joining us and missed out on that. He's looking pretty here with his HP, but his weaponry is still a little bit lacking, but he has so much shield to work with here.
Yeah, the French community, the French-speaking community did so well early on, but they've kind of all fallen off a little bit. They're still in that top 10 area, and they can come right back up into this.
I'm going to hit you with a stat real quick, okay?
Okay.
Kind of a stat. So we looked at the amount of players here. We looked at how many countries, right? 28 countries, 17 players out of the 100 are from the US, 6 from the UK, 7 from Sweden, and 12 from France. I did not realize we have so many French participants here.
The French scene is absolutely dominant from the beginning, and this is the guy who actually led the charge, Kinstar, one of the stars of the French community. That was terrible, wasn't it?
Nah, it was good. I like it. At least you didn't dab like on set here next to me.
Oh my goodness.
Meantime, Milan here, top of the clock tower. Again, the prodigy that everyone's been talking about. Again, hasn't had the greatest performance when it comes to solos, but I really want to see how he does up with Smeeth tomorrow when we do get into the duos. But Tilt to the Storm is closing. You have to evacuate the city.
This
So look
next
how many
zone
players
is so important.
are towards the southwest side compared to the north.
Yeah.
Like, north is completely open.
The shifty shafts and the houses let you actually hide there a lot more. We see actually that broken house over towards that Dusty Divot area being a little bit bigger has let a lot more people stay. Now, Bizzle on screen, Vivid on screen, Aim Hero. There's 72 hours as well. A lot of representation in the leaderboards here in the top.
And Bizzle's in the thick of it here, pretty much in the middle of this giant city that's being built up and erected.
This is crazy. Again, there's so much places. Actually, Myth taking out chat there in the feed. Again, like I'm talking about Shifty, there's so much to just hide in. There's a little bit of corners you can just box yourself up in random places. And you see Bizzle taking those walls down so he can place walls of his own.
And on that note, right, because there's so many of these angles you can hide in, moving or traversing this area can be so deadly because there's so many angles you can be shot from.
This is an issue here for Imagine and Envy. They're not in zone. They have a little bit of ways to go. And
I love that.
Using the dynamite onto his launch pad says, Envy, you cannot chase me no longer. And there we go. He makes it away. I was wondering how he was going to make it out there. That's what I was talking about. They're so far from zone. They need to make it through. They're in the ravine. There's so many issues there for Imagine, but he finds a spot. He finds a way, but no. Actually, Envy's going to come right back over there.
I love that, like 200 IQ play out of him. Hoopik going to be very high in the air as he's just going to ditch the quad crasher. He's just going to hit a tree.
Yeah.
Poor.
You saw he immediately got out the quad crasher as soon as the quad crasher hit that floor, because otherwise you could take fall damage. So.
Yeah. And Morgan, now the thing is, the battle never ends for him, it seems. Now Svenos is going to be the one he has to contend with here as he's tucked away inside of his building. We can see Myth there towards the far end side. Item still in there, who's currently in the top 10. Skype there as well. I saw Ninja dancing to this last night on a stream. It's fantastic. He's got moves.
He's got moves indeed. Remember, guys, this is game 6. One more game to go after this. These players are all trying their hardest. You can tell that they're playing so much slower. They're playing so much calmer. You saw it in the fight with Envy and Imagine and the rest of these players as well. Now it's going to be hill ending right next to Shifty Shafts, right over the ravine. This is going to be very dangerous for a lot of players if they're not comfortable fighting in this ravine.
I love how you point out the importance of this round as well, because there's only one left to go. Look at this. A lot of buildings being torn down here. Animal on about half HP. You see Vivid being shot up from the left-hand side. Jordan's going to be there up against Saf as well. Saf is, again, he's been my guy I've been looking at to take this whole thing. But Bizzle, he's just sneaking under the radar. He's not really been shot at. There's not really any attention towards his direction.
There's Animal going low. Mirwana trying to get any damage he can. And there, that half in, half out zone is actually in the ravine, like I was talking about. This is going to be so tough for a lot of these players because you have to go down and then you have to come up. So it is kind of, we'll see when we look at the zone here, but Saf there. Mirwana still up on high ground. 72 Hours was still up on high ground. There's Jordan as well.
He did have a rift actually thrown in there. I think about 2 or 3 players did take to potentially get into the high ground. You can see the Storm Surge starting to affect some players here. Bizzle sitting on the edge here. Aim here is being tagged down damage just from the Storm.
Yeah, we saw the Storm Surge tick, and it took out a few players, so it's going to go back away. Bizzle is actually first to zone. That was so key for this zone. That was my key point getting into this, is the first people and the last people are going to be in good shape here, because the last people, we saw it just slightly there, the half in, half out zone is on the mountain. So if you can go late and grab that mountain, you're going to be in a really good position, especially if it goes over the mountain.
You see Mitro still going to be alive, 72 Hours as well. Demo trying to take some high ground control here as he has a Chug Jug.
Ooh, Vinny as well, right on high ground, right under Demo. We'll see what he's able to do. It's an endgame Slayer. Here's Demo. He has 2 elims for his own right now already, but Vinny says, hey, actually, you're not paying attention to me. Gets a little bit of damage done. Demo has that Chug. This is probably going to be his last opportunity to use it.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, he's 200 HP. He doesn't have a need to use it until he does get tagged up from the high ground. Sunu is going to be up there. Still one of our Korean players. Now, Vinny, edge here. Aim here over the TSM. If you guys were paying attention, I think that was yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's still in our 5th position overall at the moment, looking to climb further into the rankings. Zate's going to be there. You can see Seth trying to heal it from the campfire.
Imagine is so close to Issa right now. That's such a dangerous person to be next to. Issa can end fights in an instant, just like Aydan.
Oh my gosh, Isma.
Sinu being...
Talk about being king of the castle. Look at him. He's high up.
A little bit of a nuisance there. There's actually nobody decided to take that mountain there. It's all on the Shifty side. Shifty side, and it's going to go across. You can look right now on the bottom right of your screen. It's going back over to high ground, away towards Dusty Divot, basically.
So if you're Isma here, like, what do you do? What's your game plan? I would imagine being this high up is not a very safe feeling when you cross this valley.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if Sinu or somebody else has a little bit of mobility on high ground. If they don't, then I got to jump down and try to make the rotate. But little mats for him. Aim Hero goes down there. A lot of players focusing, trying to get that launch pad. Nobody actually used it. He just placed it, didn't use it.
That's another player who's already won one of our victory royales here so far today, out of the fight for another chance. Milan's to get the elimination onto mid here, as we do see the launch pads coming in. Everyone's skydiving over here.
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody using that mobility to get up on the high ground without having to build up. That's the riskiest spot, is to be building up. But here's Kinstar, one of the French players that we were paying attention to, the French community. Here's Bizzle as well. Bizzle, first place right now, only 18 builds. We'll see what he's going to be able to manage to do. He's going to get knocked down, and that's so scary for him. So much in, but Vilex takes him out. That's the problem. When you get knocked down, you just fall into people's boxes.
But that's important, though. That's important for Vin, for instance, who's 5th place. Yeah. The fact that Bizzle's not out of this means there's not a lot of points that he can build up into this. As long as he can keep himself alive, Vinny, he can build up a big lead and close this gap up against Bizzle.
That's for sure, and we'll see if Magin is still up as well.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is, Magin on the high ground with the minigun. Here he is. He's trying to do this. If he can get the placements in this game, he's going to take a strong lead against Bizzle and the other players in the lobby. Actually, you can see somebody already towards the other side of this, building up the metal box there. That's Sinu. Sinu doing such a good job staying ahead. And now Magin trying to build up towards him, but Sinu's not letting him, and he's build fighting him. So Magin's going to decide, hey, I don't want high ground. You can take it. I don't really want it.
Magin needs to be careful, though. The fact he's running out of materials, he needs to stay alive, like you mentioned before. Vinny gets himself another elimination.
He's in trouble, though. He's in trouble. It's going up the hill even further, but it's going to go across the hill as well. So if he doesn't get up, he's going to be stuck.
Now, actually, you hear a lot of fingers going off here. In the meantime, you can see some bottle rockets even being thrown. That's from Sinu, who was carrying them the entire time here.
That's actually so scary. Those bottle rockets going out right up above you in endgame. 10 players remaining now.
Oh, what a shot! Kinstar says, hell no, not today. Here, Sinu's gonna fall. The Vic's still in there. Kinstar needs more eliminations. Vinny's still on the low ground with not a lot of people around.
It's another one.
On Boyer. That's now 3.
Staying in the zone and taking Boyer out just so he can get that health on Elim there, and back again with Magin. He's got 2 Elims. He's got high ground, and guess what? It's going into the open. He's got to start dropping down. Only 12 builds remaining.
It's 2 of our top 5 players still alive here, left in round number 6. You can see Vinny, though, there's a lot of people to fight out.
This is a huge fight.
Elimination, and Dementos will fall as well. That's his 3rd. And Morgan, I almost think he was overtaken Bizzle for 1st place, but can he get more? A 1st place finish for him now would guarantee that 1st place spot and almost guarantee him a top 10.
Yeah, and Vinny fighting on low ground against Ares as well. Magin trying to take out anybody else he can. Zeke goes down. Here we go. Magin, no more builds. He takes so much damage, and Ares takes him out, so it's a 1v1 now.
Ares up against 1. Can he get this elimination? Since somehow he pulled this off, the pressure's coming as he's trying to build above the 10. Builds left for him, now down to 5. He's got the shotgun,
as well. 6 Elims, and he can also use that launch pad to take high ground if he needs to against the Vic, but he's going to be ready for that.
This could be a 100-point game for him if he gets this final elimination up against the Vic. They're about almost equal in terms of HP. As you can see, the Vic missing a little bit of health. The Storms continue to move. It's going back up to the high ground. How is Ares going to get back up there?
It's going over the hill, so Vic just needs to kind of hell. Oh, but he heavy snipes him down, and no, he's going to stay up. I think he's no mats down below, but both of them are low mats. So this is going to go to it. They're going to get in the zone right here.
He's got bandages, though. He could probably heal this one out, even if he can't build back up.
He's going
for the shot! He chases it down, and again fall, and we have a new victor here for our Victory Royale. The Vic claims his 1st one of the day.
The Victory Royale for the Vic there. Again, the French-speaking community is coming in. And wow, that was such a good decision there. You saw how he immediately went silent when he realized his zone was going over and when he realized his opponent was down below. He went silent, said, okay, maybe he's going to think I went high ground. And that's exactly what happened. He comes down on him in surprise and takes him out with a nice, clean punch shot.
I think you can tell as well on the screen here what it means to him, the pressure he was under in that final 1v1. So well done by him, and he's got to feel great.
Oh, he's got to feel fantastic, gentlemen. A fantastic job. Really enjoyed that cast from you guys. The Vic then picking up the Victory Royale. I mean, the French community, we were saying, oh, they've got a little bit quiet here, and then all of a sudden, they burst back into life here.
Bursting back into life for sure. The Vic, we'll see where he lands in the standings. I'm super excited to see them because this is going to be our last look before Game 7. The last one. Oh, my goodness.
Honestly, I can't wait to see the standings, actually, because Bizzle, who did fall earlier on, Morgan, who made it into, I think, the top 5, should almost certainly have overtaken him. The question comes down to by how much. And then Funkbomb, who was in 4th place, dropped so early. So that 5th place or 4th place he did have, I almost think he's going to be dropped out of top 10, if not top 15, or even out of the money, out of top 20.
Yeah, Imagine definitely securing himself, I think, definitely for sure, first place. And it's all going to be about how big of a gap is it going to be, right?
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, because we talked about our top 2 a lot here. Bizzle, Imagine, who have kind of been swapping places for the majority of the day, and there's been a big shift here. I think that Bizzle was eliminated around the 30th place or something like that in that game, and obviously Imagine taking it right down to the last few players there. My point to make here is how close has everyone got to Bizzle below him now? How big is that gap at the top of the leaderboard now? Is there other players still in contention here with a big Game 7 who could take home the whole thing?
There has to be, right? There has to be some people in contention for #1 place. It comes down to, like we were talking about, that 100-point game you still can get. You get those 7 eliminations, and you get the Victory Royale, and you could easily shoot through to first.
Can we talk about how much pressure Imagine was under that entire game?
Yeah.
Envy was chasing him all the way through, and then guess what? He fought Envy's teammate Insinu on the high ground, and yeah, just all the way through. Pretty much he was shambles.
He was pincered between Little J and Envy, and then he eventually got away when Little J got aggressive against Envy, so he backed off. Then he had Svenos a little bit later on. Actually, he was up against Envy again before that, and he was constant under pressure. I wanted to mention really quickly, Bala, how awesome it is when you see the moving storms go over these mountains. You really see people tested and really challenged when it comes into these final zones.
Yeah, that mobility ends up being so key. The players who are able to grab that, the loot, the vending machines, finding the elims to grab the launch pads from them, or the rift to goes, or whatever it may be. We saw at a certain point in that game, everybody flying over towards the mountain. And here we go.
Here we
the
go.
Standings.
Gentlemen, here we
Ooh,
go.
it's
Imagine
so
on
close.
top, repping the UK, my boy. Vinny moving up into 2nd place with a big performance there. Bizzle now down in 3rd place. Scram still in within striking distance. And look how close it is, guys. I would say that anyone from kind of maybe 7th upwards, maybe anyone still in that top 10 with a 100-point game, with a little bit of luck going their way, it's very much all still to play for here. But imagine that kind of performance there just gives him a little bit of breathing room, even though it's only around 10 points.
And even the Vic is still in contention for 1st place. If he can pull off a 100-point game, he would take first away, but he has to hope that Morgan is going to have not great of a game, and Bizzle as well. Like, technically, he could still come out first. That's what's so crazy about this right now.
But remember,
last round.
It all matters what the top 5 and the top 1 actually do. Remember, because if you can place in that top 10 as the player up top, regardless of if you get a lot of elims, regardless of any of that, you're still getting a lot of points. So it's kind of tick for tat, right? If he gets points, you also have to get more points. So a 100-point game, I honestly, guys, I think it's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
We can hope.
I think what we're trying to say now is that the players kind of in that top 5 kind of have their destiny in their own hands, don't they? If they have a big game now, they will probably take home the win. It's as simple as that. They get some limbs along the way, they place particularly well, then that trophy there could very well be in their hands. I mean, gents, we had the similar situation last weekend. It came all the way down to our final game. This seems even closer than last weekend. The solos just aren't disappointing as far as excitement and going down to the wire.
And you look at Funk Bomb. I mean, I think I want to point out just for a good reason. The thing is, he was 4th place.
Yeah.
He got knocked out early. If that happens to Morgan, then he's not getting first. Like, if Bizzle just gets, like, was it 6 points on the board, he'll overtake him.
Exactly.
It is so important now, I think, if you're in the top 10, to play so passive in the beginning and not get caught out. Do not get eliminated early.
Or yeah, just take no risks. Basically, is the idea, right? You got to get towards that top 10. If you can, you secure your placement just a little bit more, right? It's only the people around you who can really make a difference, or somebody with a crazy 100-point game. But yeah,
imagine.
I really
crazier things happen, right?
Oh no, it could totally happen. Like I'm not saying that it's impossible, right? We've seen it. We've seen it happen. I mean, we had the opportunity in one of the other ones. I think History had a close to 100-point game. He just missed out because he didn't get that 1st place. But it could happen. But really, the 60-point threshold is what I'm looking for in terms of games. That's usually what people are scoring in an average game.
This is where experience comes into things as well, doesn't it? Obviously, these players have been in these positions before, know how to close out these kind of tournaments. And one player that has a lot of experience on his side is currently down on the floor. It's Adam and Lothar, I believe.
Thanks so much, Mark. In the words of Baller, let's go, Lothar. Dude, how's it going? What a day. How much have you enjoyed this experience today?
I really love the point system in this tournament. It keeps everyone on the focus, on their feet, you know, because you can see in the 1st place, 281 points, but the 2nd place is like 7 points behind. So it's all about even every single elimination, every single placement point that you get is so important. And even people outside of top 30, I think they can still get into the top 10 if they get into the late game, if they can get into the top 5.
I mean, it's been amazing. Backstage, obviously, we're looking at the leaderboards, and it's changing every single game. Things are changing. How much do you think the player's mindset now, looking like, you know, if you get to the top 20, you're taking home at least 4 figures worth of, like, that lovely cheddar we talked about earlier, that prize pool. How much of it do you think now is playing for getting into that top 20, or how much of it is still playing for pride, getting those points and trying to get as high as you can?
Well, you know, I can't say for the players, but in my opinion, if you play for the prize, you're not gonna win. You're gonna have to play for the, you know, the trophy, that podium that you want to be on, and that has to be the mindset. I feel like in other games, it's a similar thing. If you have a champion's mindset, you're gonna get that prize anyway, but you need to aim to win.
Totally. And in terms of like the players today as well, is there anyone in particular that you've been surprised at how well they've done, or you've been surprised at how poorly they've done considering the competition?
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to call out people, you know, but there's 100 fantastic players here. And there has to be someone who will be doing badly, even though he's an amazing player. An example, Kripa is actually a fantastic E11 player, but he's now standing just on 15 points. Hope he will do well in the next game. But at the same time, the top finishers are currently just known players. Like, there's no surprise there. You know, if you see the top, you're like, oh, yeah, those guys, yeah, they're showing up for the past months. So it's fantastic to see.
It really is. And we're one game away from crowning our champion of solos and presenting that trophy. Cannot wait. Thank you so much. I think we made a new friend in this process as well, just behind me, which is amazing. Always making friends here. What a great community. We need to go to a break now. We're back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Think she can't get a last-second clutch? Watch this. Think he can't carry his team while streaming in high resolution? All the while recording a once-in-a-lifetime win? Watch this. Think leveling up only happens in-game? Watch this. On Intel Core i7, they'll rise to every challenge. Now it's your turn. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Why are you watching me when this could be you?
This is so you.
Classic you. And this could be us.
This is all waiting for you! PS4 for the players!
ESL Katowice Royale, featuring Fortnite, is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, and PlayStation 4.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Katowice Royale. We have 6 games done, dusted. We can't have them back. We've only got one more to go. And the great news is we still don't know who's going to win this thing. So many players still in contention for that first place in our solos tournament. But before we get down to serious business, we like to have a little bit of fun with our players here at the tournament. So we filmed this with them earlier. Let's check it out.
Oh, goodness. Mining. Shifty shafts? Pickaxe? Yes.
That one time we were in a plane and we went for this and we started a fight because of it.
Big bonus?
No, it's a beast.
It's a beast.
It drops 200
zombies
and stone and metal.
Llama.
Wow. Superb.
Okay.
Excellently done.
Great job.
When you have with this item, you can do 20 damage per hit.
Pistol.
No.
Pickaxe.
Yes.
You soar through the clouds in this.
Glider?
No.
Bus?
No. Vaulted in Season 8.
Airplanes.
Yep.
Okay. You swing this every game.
Pickaxe.
Mm-hmm.
The waifu's favorite weapon.
Heavy sniper?
No. In playgrounds. YouTube videos. Embarrassing.
Pickaxe.
Yeah.
You thank him for doing his job. Bus driver. You thank the guy that drives it. It's blue, has a balloon. Batter bus. Damn.
Incredible stuff. I love those because they're back to back, and you know when you fall out with someone and you just don't want to look at them, but you know you're forced into a conversation. It's like, you're right, yeah, you. What's going on? Anyway, we like to have fun with these players, like we say, exactly, and we can see how they're getting on. Lots of fun with the guys, but now, gentlemen,
I'm just going to do the segment like
it's.
This,
come on, man, come on, man. I mean, you've only just got back on the desk. It's down to serious business. Zacubus joining us once more with stress, of course, and Zacubus, I want to talk to you about this because we've got 3 players who are at the top of the leaderboard here, who are kind of leading the way, but anyone within that top 10 at the moment is still very much with a shout.
Oh, very much so. You know, we got Margin at the very top. We got Vinny as well, and then Bizzle close behind that as well. 2 Americans trying to catch up to the Brit. But there are 2 more Brits out there in the top 10 that could potentially take it because, you know, there's some big points on the line on this last game, and they've got to clutch it up big time here, Stress.
Yeah, there are a few players on the peripheral points area. So the key number right now is 281 points for Margin. That's first place. Behind him, you've got Vinny, 275, so only 6 points difference. That's 1 elimination plus placement points that'll really shift that top. You look a little further down the list, I think, and speaking with some of the other casters, roughly 8th place for Aries is about where we expect without a massive game out of somebody, because that is a 63-point difference to jump to first and then relies on everybody else. So really the key places that you're looking for is 1 through 8 in this game. And even for Aries, I think it would be a miracle game to jump that high.
And you can see the standings here, as we say. Imagine sat on top at the moment. The Brit, I mean, it's a bit unfair, isn't it, really? We've got 3 Brits on the desk and he's sat on top of the leaderboard. But we all know how that usually ends up. So, I mean, looking down as well, you know, there's some players here that we maybe weren't expected to be this higher placed that are putting in fantastic efforts. We've got the Brazilian players up in the top 13 as well. We've had Victory Royales coming in today for the South Korean players. It really has been a festival of nationalities here, and all of them have performed. We haven't had any disappointment from anyone, really.
Absolutely not. It's been spectacular. From start to finish, everybody performing incredibly, incredibly well. And I'm just looking for some more stellar performances in this final game.
Yeah, it's such a congested field that as soon as you drop past that top 10, I'm pretty sure the next 30 spaces can just change in one game. Like, there's not that much big of a buffer in the middle of the pack either. So you look at the standings now, it could completely change by the end of this Game 7.
And we have to remember there's a $100,000 prize pool for this solos tournament. The first place taking home $20,000. So as if this final game didn't have enough stress put on it. Oh my God, sorry. You just nodded.
We lasted a whole weekend and
without doing
day.
that, and then I managed to do it.
I'm so sorry.
Never mind. Enough pressure, better, on these players. That's got to start sort of coming into the back of their mind, or do you think that's kind of something they kind of push out and just think, look, it's all about just doing what I can in this game?
Right now, I think the top 10 are feeling pretty comfortable. They're going in very strong. They've got their game plans locked down. I mean, what's amazing is how Majin has just been adaptable this entire time as well. It's like he's been able to evolve his gameplay so much.
Here we go then. Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this. Round number 7 is about to get underway, and to take you through the action, it's Stress and Zacubus.
Loading in with one of our top 3. Bizzle is who we're watching for the start of round 7, the final round of solos action here at the ESL Katowice Royale. Imagine we're going to follow a lot of our top 3 in the early game. I made this request because it is such an important factor to be following the absolute points leaders. As we said, without a real upset in the beginning of the game, it's these 3 guys that are most likely to take home the victory royale for the entire tournament. And look at this Vinny gift to begin it.
Oh man, finding a llama straight off the bat. Vinny in a great position in 2nd place right now, and that is going to help that mat game completely. Also, you never know what you're going to get out of it. You could get a Rift to go, you could get a launch pad, you're set. You find that llama, that has put you in a really good position.
And Bizzle's also in a good position as well. We've seen him win the early game around Dusty so often that really now is only him and Demo landing in that area and nobody else. Everybody else is just saying, oh, we're just going to back away. And they end up getting so much loot from the early game because no one's fighting them there. Meanwhile, over at Paradise, oh, the actual double elimination and nobody comes out ahead.
That was a bit disastrous there from both players.
Maxcalibur, I think he thought he had it at first, and then the post-elimination elimination.
Yeah. What happened, I think, oh, well, the action's kicking off somewhere else, actually. Retail, Tixi versus Nikov here, down here. And some good damage there for Nikov, but he's on the low ground, and he wants to find an attempt to push onto the high ground. Or maybe he'll just play it safe, farm up some mats inside the building, but he doesn't want to try. Oh, it's going. Oh, it's been pressured from above. Tixi with a great shot. But
that trade was insane back for Tixi. Ends up taking the elimination for himself, but a new challenger approaches as Llama comes in from the side. Looks like 72 Hours just doing what he can. I think he's ranked about 20th right now in the tournament. He's over by Volcano. This has been one of his common drops for the day. His Llama, as we said, was building in towards, I think it's Tixi that had won that previous fight down on the low ground.
Yeah, but it looks like he could be food here for Nikov down there. Oh, Tixi, sorry, my bad.
It looks like Llama actually lost health on the trade. Long-range Klinger onto the tree. Got excited. I was like, ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
1 in a million throw.
It's the last game. Just make sure you get out, survive. Make sure that you can get as far as you can, and maybe you can find some loot somewhere else.
Envy here coming over the top, trying to find 72 Hours. Does find it with the first shot. That should turn this fight, but look at Envy's health. 72 Hours traded it back. Will rotate the ramp and look to try and get himself any sight that he can. He's trying to just peek over the top. Envy, there's an armor in the open, and Envy does go down to 72 Hours.
Very nicely played there from 72 Hours, just holding that high ground for as long as he needed, checking all the angles. I love how he turned his back, obviously using every angle to expose his opponent there. Very nicely done, and cleans it up very easily, and he's going to be happy jumping into the volcano.
Yeah, 72 Hours didn't really have too much competition around the volcano for the solos. I'm interested to see with the duos if he still ends up going there. Of course, duos is coming to you tomorrow and Sunday for our tournament. We are in the last round of solos here at the ESL Katowice Royale, and Far, one of the Brazilian players, is making his way towards both Aspect and Dementos. Dementos trying to just heal himself up with some of those potions. Through the top goes Far's shots, but I think Aspect is just going to back away and say, no, I need the placement points. I need anything I can get here, and just back away.
Yeah, maybe he'll re-engage, maybe, perhaps. We got into the cornfield here, and this is where Dementos has disappeared, playing it slow. Has to be careful. He's got no man stress. Big damage, though, shotgun. Far could have messed that up.
Far over the top, though. That's where he's trying to look for. Far down to 11 health. If he can get just that one shot. He's only got the tack, though, so it's going to take a little bit more there. The building coming down, and Dementos trying to just pickaxe his way all the way through this. He knows he's already got the lead. The third party is Aspect, picks up the elimination for himself and just runs away. Aspect's like, I'm out here, guys. See ya.
I mean, Dementos is gone. I mean, Aspect, brilliant timing there. I thought he might re-engage. It seemed to make sense. You know, he's at the bottom of the pack. He needs eliminations, and that was just a good excuse when that fight happened.
Yeah, Issa, here we're on for another fight as Issa's trying to find himself a little bit of space against Razaru. Razaru, I believe, is somewhere in the 20s, and we said that, you know, you can jump pretty high up here as Razaru is... who we're watching with no explosives. 8 shotgun shells should be enough to take this fight, and it is. Edit through the top and easy pickings.
Nice clean pump shotgun to the face there, wraps it up nicely. We switch over to Zeke and History in Paradise Palms, and things are really kicking off here, Stress.
Yeah, Zeke is going to try and replace that wall and get the edit, but he's not quite able to get it in time. Klinger through the roof. Cling, cling, cling. And Zeke is trying to pick up the elimination. Not to be for now. How many clingers did he have? 6 from this exchange. Just trying to put the pressure down onto History.
Unfortunately, Zeke made a little bit of a fatal mistake there. He underestimated the strength of the roof. Natural roof tiling like that is about 500 HP, and of course the clingers couldn't go through it in time.
Razaru, is he caught? There's more clingers coming out from Aries, and Aries was one of the players we were watching, currently in 8th place. He needs 63 points to catch up, and Rover by Football, Aries will pick it up. That's 5 points on the board, building towards his long chase.
Yep, 223 points there for Aries now with that lovely elimination. If he can keep up that pressure and keep his cool, he might be able to squeeze in a win, perhaps. I mean, he's in the bottom end of the pack here. There is potential, but who knows?
So for those of you that maybe didn't catch the beginning of the day where we were going through the format, it is placements above 50th place are worth points, 5 points for every elimination. You can see the grayed out names on the sides of your screen are the players who have already been eliminated, and the big name really that we have to keep our eyes on throughout this game is Majin, but Bowman and Zeke are trading. Bowman's the one that gets those clingers. A lot of damage down onto Zeke to start, and Zeke only 36 now, up to a little bit more health, but still a precarious position to be in.
It's going to be interesting to see what History does here. Is he going to dip out? It looks like he's hanging around for a while here, but Bowman stuck in the other side of these houses too. Going for a rotation instead, going to dip out of the fight by the looks of it. I think every player's taken their exit strategy, make sure they play for the late game. It's a wise move. There's a lot of money on the line.
And here we go, Majin. Speaking of playing for the late game, 1 by 1, doing backflips.
I mean,
doesn't have a drift board, so I don't think it counts. But it's nice, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he does what he needs to do, and we're going to go back for that replay. The clinger.
The double elimination off the clinger. Post elimination.
And 72 hours picking up that lovely, lovely frag onto MV there as well.
I'm expecting the mid-game perhaps to be a little bit slower, as this was one of Aydan's pickoffs by the looks of it. Did manage to get one for himself. I'm expecting this to be a little bit slower of a mid-game because it's the last game, the last opportunity to pick up placement points. So I know earlier today you were talking to Majin. I saw it before the tournament, you and him having a chat in the player area. Any words that he gave you about his goals coming into today? Because he sat at the top of the points.
What was really, really interesting talking to Majin is that, you know, he came into this with no game plan. And obviously, you know, the new season mixed it all up. And his plans were to, you know, get a plane, rotate, find somewhere that was actually safe on the map, and then loot. So he would always go for a plane first, find the safest available spot, and then work from that point. But his whole game plan has to change. And he happened to pick probably the best spot for him, the ice cream parlor by the racetrack at Paradise Palms. Like, perfect placement, no one really contesting there, and he had 3 opportunities to run away with.
Yeah, of course, had to adapt his game plan thanks to Season 8 Stormwing vaulting in the patch changes. Rizard's gonna fall. Doesn't end up dying, not too high for that full damage to kick in, but Tux is here, maybe he can pick off. That's a stink grenade. These are so good in these close quarters position. Just even if it doesn't get the kill, it forces him to move, and you can maybe pick up that elimination from the side. Look for that angle as Rizard is backing himself away. Tux is trading with Smeef a little bit here as well.
Yeah, getting a bit greedy there, Tux. Steady on, lad. Just find your own opponent first. I mean, very unlucky not to find that elimination there with the stink bomb there.
Another name that pops up in the action feed, Scram. He won one of our earlier games today. He's currently sat in 4th place. He would need a 50-point difference in his favor against Margin to take 1st place, and that would then depend on Vinny and Bizzle. So this is really the thing. You can have the best game, but if your opponents are still consistent and they're above you in the points, you might not be able to jump above them.
Rizart's coming back in for some action, but finds Smeef instead. Tux has gone for the low ground here and played it a little bit safe down there.
Is getting tracked all the way up. There's a bad smell in that building, and it might be you, Smeef, at this point, because it's following you all the way up with those stink grenades. And Smeef's going to say, no, I'm out of this one.
It's really hard to avoid those farts, Stress, and they keep coming. They keep on coming. It's just, oh, the smell lingers for ages.
Rizart in a lot of danger now as he gets clipped from the side. Has a few bandages, so we'll be able to heal that up, but now Smeef maybe is in a situation where he's the one that can put some damage out in response, but this is the slower mid-game. This is what we're expecting. 69 players remain in this game, and we are at Storm 2 out of 9 that is moving.
Yep. Smeef in a precarious situation here. He really wants to put this campfire down, and that's going to attract enemies to this location. They're going to know that he's low. Rizart has taken the sign. Maybe he's going to make a move with the pickaxe here, try and hack in his way. But he has to be careful of Smeef on the other side of this building as well.
Smeef knows he's coming in, and Smeef has shields. Like, that's the one thing that Rizart can't underestimate, is if this shot doesn't connect flush and just insta-eliminate, Rizart is going to feel the pain from Smeef, because Smeef, that campfire has basically expired now. So we're onto a replace fight. Gets the window, but a ramp in response. There's the spray down. Does get another shot from the pump. Tries the pyramid, and that's what we were talking about. Rizart takes the fight and ends up falling completely out at 69th place.
Smeef just having the advantage with the health stack there could take a shot to the face there, but slightly Riz whiffing it a little bit, I feel. But great stuff from Smeef there, playing very well on the defense.
Another big name on your screen right now. Right at the top, Solary Kinstar is currently in 5th place. He would need a 57-point difference between himself and Margin to end up taking 1st place. He put up a big performance in game number 2 and has been consistent throughout. I mean, it's doable, right? It's doable for Kinstar. He's one of the people that we said could catch with the right game.
It's really interesting. This is the strongest performance in a while that we've seen from Kinstar in solos. His duo performance is outrageously amazing. Like, top 5 pretty much every event that he plays in the skirmishes.
And what a tournament so far for Vinny, just signing with TSM not much longer than a few days ago, and a player that people are talking about so frequently. It was like, when are we going to see Vinny? When are we going to see him play? And what a performance. Currently only 6 points behind Margin. That is 2 eliminations difference, or that placement point. It's so close.
In the previous game, when you had that face-off between Margin and Vinny, right? They didn't really meet each other, but you could see how they were conflicting against each other in that action feed. Ooh. Because Vinny was popping off so much with some eliminations.
My heart is in my throat right now for Margin, who is traversing open ground to get into the zone. And he had Cloud, I believe as well, he had Scram around him. And that's the kind of position that if somebody has a sniper, it's one shot for the elimination, could very easily pick him off. That's why he was checking around.
It was very interesting.
Oh, is he going to hit Shinken? No.
He's going to try, though, go for those pirate plays. Yeet it out. But anyways, what's interesting about Margin is that he was already in the circle, but he wanted to rotate center. And there's less attention in the center. People are more focused on fighting towards the edges, so he was able to rotate for free there.
I'm still watching Gmo just trying to utilize that cannon. Has built it in so that it doesn't blast off the floor behind him. He does have Animal closing in Tajovsky's there as well, as is Sinnoh, but just being annoying, really, more than anything with that cannon, breaking through the boundary, the walls as much as he can.
Alpha was just tagging away there at via Linen there, just trying to find some damage, but not really getting anything out of it apart from just wasting his AR ammo.
Aim Hero, you can see on the bottom side of your screen as well. Another one of our Victory Royale winners earlier today. Aim Hero is going to join in on the fun and try and put as much towards Shinken as he can. As Scram, as we said, had won, I think it was round 5 earlier, so in contention, but it would take a good performance. I feel like Seth had a good start to the day, for sure, and that's the thing, is the consistency really is the key, and it is so difficult across 7 rounds to be consistent. It takes a lot of mental fortitude and physical fortitude between it just to be able to keep placing in the late game every single time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was quite amazing in the previous game that Majin was able to do so much when he was getting pressured so much by Envy. He did a crazy smart play, actually using Dynamite to kill his launch pad to escape the incredibly bad situation that he got himself into.
New zone will show. Majin is, I believe, just inside, or is he just outside? No, he's outside. He has to run. And you have to think, for Majin, in this situation, he doesn't have the same view that we have. He can't see the eliminations of people like Vinny, of Bizzle. So he's having to manually track it down in that action feed and say, okay, have I seen them score? What do I need to do? Because even if I win and they're second place, I have to beat them on points.
I honestly don't think he's even worried about it at this stage. I think he's just going, you know, I'm going to get the late game, I'm going to play it cool, and I'll pop off at the end, and I'll worry about it then. And to be honest, you just got to play your own game. You can't expect, ooh, big damage there coming from Tux there, doing a little bit of a miss.
Vilex wasn't expecting that damage from above to come through as much. That was a big trade. Loses 60 health on that.
He's going to be fine, though. He's going to shield up as best as he can.
Keolis finds another elimination for its 3rd of the game. Of course, we're talking so much about who is going to be the eventual winner. As we said, the whole pack can change, and there is significant placement and earnings available, even for those that aren't in the top spot.
There's a lot of aggression here coming in on this build-off here, just on this mountain. Players finding each other, wanting to go in for the eliminations. Big damage received from Kilios there, and now he has to find a defensive strategy for himself. But Bizzle is still in the game, and he's still rocking it.
Yeah, History is beside him, and History certainly trying to get away from those stink bombs. Just hacked so much through with those stink bombs. Now look, dual pistols from the side. Somebody is trying to pick up anything that they can.
What's interesting about Ghost Bizzle right now, he hasn't had to rotate at all. He landed there, and he's still there to this day. It's just his favorite spot. He doesn't need to do anything. And look at his items because of it. He hasn't had to rotate. He hasn't had to use any of his healings. He's got the Rift to go to spare.
Looking to try and pick off Tyovsky. He's just using that compact SMG as much as possible now, raining through with the blue AR, but he hasn't quite found the pick. Bizzle gets dropped on, and Bizzle is going to get picked off. Bizzle ends up falling to History. He turned his back, and that surely is such a drastic end for Bizzle this early on.
No way, Stress. History makes history. Oh my Jesus, oh, that's insane. And also the Rift to go, there's so much loot there that Bizzle has saved up since the start of the game.
Bizzle turned his back, and there it is, 50 players eliminated. Bizzle was out of the placement points, so you have to feel like Bizzle, there's no way he can catch Majin. There's no way he can catch Vinny right now, so Bizzle is a maximum 3rd place finish. But this game continues, and it's with Vinny that we are watching. 1 elimination to his name. That leaves him 1 point behind Majin before placement points are actually included.
This is going to go down to the wire. All depends on placement at the moment, but that could change. You never know, Majin could pick up an elimination here or there. So could Vinny. And Vinny on a little bit of a wide rotation, I feel.
Majin's on 0 eliminations for now. Zexro is here in this area, and let's not sleep on any of the competitors in this. It's not like Majin and Vinny are so clear that they aren't going to get picked off. We just saw it happen to Bizzle. Everybody is a lethal threat regardless of where they are on those standings, and at this point you can see a few of the other players that are alive. Jordan from the X2 Twins is alive. They've been doing decently well throughout this solos, but we're really waiting for the duos to see how the Twins perform. That's what we've seen them crush at, and as this storm starts to shrink, there are so many players, perhaps the largest field we've had today on this movement.
I am scared, Stress. I am very, very scared. Kinstar is still alive out there, and it worries me for Margin's future. It really does.
Well, we'll wait till it gets lower because Hupek is going to try and pick one off in the air. Does get the spray down, and he got Norwood out of the air. Metro picks up 72 hours. That unfortunately calls an end to 72 hours Solo's performance as Metro continues. Yakos, our Polish winner, is still in there. Aydan is still in the left of your screen. You can see Boya in the middle of everything. There are so many contenders that could easily take the victory royale.
Very much so. We see Margin in the dead center of all this mess. Sinnoh's getting actually a bit stunk on there in the corner, but he's going to recover just fine. I don't think he's going to get any more pressure. And imagines everybody is already on this corner. This is going to be a hectic push towards that next circle, Stress. Everybody is already facing that direction. And
Margin's just peeking. He doesn't know that it's Vivid in front of him, but like that's a matchup that everybody would want to see, Margin against Vivid at this point. But it's impossible for people to really call a lot of these engagements. Now, Bowman trying to just pick anybody out of the sky that he can, as Storm Surge warning does kick in, but Bowman is very much safe with the amount of damage he has done. He's trying to spin up that minigun, just preemptively doing it to get anything he can, but now he's got to move.
Yep, and he's going to try and maintain as much high ground as possible. I think he has some backup options there, and he's going to try and dish out as much damage as he can at the very back, getting a little bit of pressure there. Will he have to use any of his movement options spare? I think he's just going to keep running it and build as much as he can. Good pressure with the minigun, though, forcing his opponents down there.
Great pressure. Here's Margin. This is the dangerous move that he has to traverse perfectly in order to keep his lead. Doesn't swap to the shotgun in enough time to pick up an elimination, but he finds safety for now. So did a lot of people, but we are down to 28. A lot of our contenders are still up in this game, and nobody has found that key elimination to turn this game into their points' favor.
Butt cheeks are clenching here, Stress. Very much so. As a Brit, I have tea in celebration after this if he manages to pull it off.
It definitely is not Margin's game. It is not a safe game for him at all, as he has to keep eliminations on top of it as well. Points leader, but only by 6, means it could be easy for Vinny to jump up. The player from the USA could very well end up taking this if he can get a few eliminations. Margin traversing upwards. Where is Vinny? I'm trying to track him down. We see he's using the balloon, single balloon strategy to try and get as much height in the late game. 40 builds is where he's at.
Margin making it.
Edit does get a lot of damage down, gets the elimination, actually picks up Jordan, one of the X2 twins, runs into another one. Margin has to stay alive if he wants the hope to actually stay in this at first, but he's taking storm damage as well. He's eliminated. Zexro gets him, and it's now all on Vinny. If Vinny can put up enough points, surely this has to be it. Vinny just needs to stay in for a victory royale, and then depending on the rest of the field, it all depends on how much the other players around him are scoring. I don't think we can call a clear winner at the end of this game.
Jakos having that high ground, as we saw earlier on, he has been mastering it every game. I don't know how he gets up there so consistently all the time, and now taking pot shots at everybody that's flying.
That's Vinny! Vinny drops in on Yakos, and Vinny needs to pick this one up. Vinny needs everything that he can to be able to stay through, but surely he has done enough to at least unseat Margin. It's all about the rest of the field. Vinny ends up dying. Vinny is gone out of this one. So that's Bizzle, Vinny, and Margin gone. Somebody could steal this from behind. Who have we got? Animal is here. Boyer is here. Madsen goes down. That was a double elimination pickup with 6 players left.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. Who's up the very top? That's Zayt up the top with the high ground. He's playing it extra slow, playing it very safe. But that rocket launcher will change that situation with Sinnoh doing some big damage onto Zayt.
4 players left, and this is all about climbing the rest of the standings. The battle for first has pretty much all been decided, and with 3 players left, it is all about final placement. Shinken drops down. Sinnoh ends up picking up 1, and Animal is going to win the game. The final victory royale of the solos competition is picked up by Animal.
Animal doing fantastic work there, Stress. I mean, he had a bit of a slow performance today in the solos, but, you know, we saw him yesterday in the duo practice. These guys, they were going next level. 2 wins back-to-back in the practice.
Yeah, they, in the practice, performed very well, now coming through with the victory royale, and you know, it's not too late to be climbing the standings here. That was a big game out of Animal to kind of jump his way up. The real key thing is, we really don't know who's won.
I know, it's so tense right now. I'm so hoping I'm so hoping.
I don't have a horse in this race.
Fingers are very
honestly...
much crossed at the moment, gentlemen, for you. I mean, what a finish. The fact that we've come right down to the end there. Massive congratulations to Animal, we must say, for the victory royale at the end. But we do not know our winner off the top of our heads. We have no idea still. Someone do some quick maths.
Bizzle got eliminated early. That's what we know. I really don't think it can be Bizzle.
He was out of the placements.
He was out of placement points. So it's did Vinny outperform Margin enough on placements, and did everybody, Scram, Keenstar, Item, Blacks, Aries, did they all fail to pick up enough points to unseat Vinny, or will Vinny have done it? Oh,
it's going to be a lot of people in the back at the moment, a lot of League Ops guys tapping away on calculators, double checking, triple checking, making sure that it's right. So we get you guys the correct winner, of course. But I mean, what a finish it was, gents. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better day of solos here in our international tournament. Everyone has turned up. They've given us heartache. They've given us incredible plays. I mean, it came down to a game number 7 with so many players still in contention, as we obviously have the replays coming in from that last game. But I love the fact that after all is said and done, a little bit like Test cricket, they played 7 games here, we still don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's won.
Yeah, we don't know who's won. We saw a few big pickups from Aries. As you said, Bizzle ended up dropping out. I think we'll probably end up seeing that as part of a replay package. But, I mean, the competition is pretty close between a lot of the countries that have come here, right? I mean, we've got American players fighting for the top. We've got European players. And just in general, I think it's been really exciting to see different play styles, especially in solos as well.
Oh, definitely. And it was quite an upset earlier on as well, with Bizzle just dropping out of the top 50. Like,
yeah.
He had
it came out of nowhere as well, that elimination. He was so focused on that player in front of him, and then bang.
And that's what, like, the importance, especially in solos, is pretty much all 100 players are top players in their region, right? So you can't sleep on somebody. You can't just say, I'm in the top, I'll just turn my back and start looking for this elimination, and that's what picked up Bizzle.
It's the clash of styles there that really, came in there. I'm sure if that was an all-American, group of 100 players, it could have been a whole different kettle of fish. It went absolutely crazy. No one was expecting history to make history there and knock down Bizzle and his chance for the championship.
Okay, gentlemen.
Have you got it?
I've got it. I've just heard it in my ears. The most exciting thing is it was 3 points that separated the winner of today's solo action. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the solos is Vinny!
Oh!
Incredible stuff.
What a... basically week. What a week for Vinny, really. Yeah. And what a time to do it. Like, this has just been a monumental week for a young player to pick up the solos.
What a fantastic performance from that young man. You can see him. He's about to lift that trophy up. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Vinny!
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, your ESL Katowice Royale Solos champion, it's Vinny! Vinny, come round this way, buddy, come round this way. Congratulations, you must feel on top of the world right now.
I feel amazing.
How does it feel to clutch that amazing, beautiful trophy as well?
Feels great. It's my first one, so I'm really excited.
Well, congratulations. Let's talk about the tournament in general. First things first, 3 points in it. 319 points you finished on. I think Magan came in at 316. How did it feel as a player being in that kind of environment where it's so close?
It was definitely nerve-wracking, but at the end, I had a lot of movement, and I knew I'd take down first place.
When you came into the tournament today as well, did you have a strategy this morning coming into this, thinking that's how I've got to play this thing?
My strategy wasn't the best. I used to drop Snobby, but that was kind of taken, so I'd make a new strat, and it worked out today, so it's awesome.
It's amazing. I mean, obviously, have you guys enjoyed yourselves today as well? What a worthy winner you've been. I mean, let's talk about as well. You haven't, despite not getting a victory royale today, you've played the game so well. The consistency of it all. It couldn't have gone better than it did to plan, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, a whole weekend to go, full of duos. Confidence must be at an all-time high now. Are you looking forward to going into duos as well?
Yep, me and Zax are going to bring first place as well, so I'm excited.
You're going to bring the noise. Guys, one more time, would you please give it up for your ESL Katowice Royale Solos champion, it's Vinny! What a deserved champion. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations there, buddy, representing the US of A. What a day it's been. I've loved every second of this being the stage host of this. But tomorrow we kick off duos 2 days back-to-back. Vinny's excited. All the players, I'm sure, are as well. Thank you so much for watching today from the main stage here. I've loved every second. Cannot wait for tomorrow. For now, let's head back to Mark and the fellas. What an incredible day this has been.
Thank you so much, Adam. And NA all day, baby. That was the question coming into today. Could anyone dethrone them? Hey, it was close. It was close, but NA, they hold on.
It was really interesting because I feel like the North American players really warmed into it as the games went on, as the round numbers started ticking up. At the beginning of the day, I think a lot of the players, for instance, from Solary and the French community, were very used to playing in this environment, but getting warmed up, Vinny, really consistency is the key. And that's what we learned last week. This is what we've learned again. Vinny just in a great, great spot.
And I love the fact that he's got the stream open so he can watch himself lift up that trophy. What a moment that is. What, I mean, Vinny, just watch it for a second, mate. It's a really nice moment. It's a really nice moment.
Back again.
And enjoy it. Enjoy the chat. I'm sure everyone's giving him a lot of props as well. I'm sure there's a lot of American fans out there showing their support for him as well. But, I mean, Zacubus, it's been a fantastic day, but we're only getting started here. This is day one of the international tournament. We're going to do 2 days.
2 more days?
2 more days.
Great.
It's duos action kicking off tomorrow. And you can see that even Vinny there saying, you know, this is great. I've won the solos tournament. I'm going to bring it tomorrow and the next day. He wants some more victories.
Oh, for sure. He's going to be hammering it out tomorrow with his teammate. They're going to be going busy, as a lot of other people will be. There's going to be loads more games that are going to be just as exciting as that as well. And I think we have the scoreboard up there.
I mean, look at these standings. I said it was only 3 points, and it looks closer than that when you have the numbers actually put together. Bizzle sliding down to 4th place there. Kinstar making his way into 3rd place at the end. Skype with another big game towards the end as well. So big changes again. I mean, Zape made a big run towards the end. And look at that man. Their history in 9th place representing Brazil. Huge stuff for that region.
Great performances. We look at just outside the top 10. We've got big names in here. Funk Bomb, Vivid, Metro, all in the mix. And honestly, I think you see a lot of these names. The ones that maybe people don't know so much, players like Item, I think the longer tournaments go on, the more we see on the lead up, for instance, to the World Cup, I think we're going to see a lot of these players posting big results again and again, and this kind of experience is invaluable for them.
And one thing that I love as well, Zacubus, is the amount of different nationalities we have in that top 10, excuse me, top 20 standings. Yeah. I'm getting a little bit carried away here. I'm just looking forward to duos, to be honest with you. But it just shows that, you know, Fortnite esports, it's a worldwide game now. It's not just contained within certain regions. You got to be aware of everyone that's coming to the party.
Everybody's going to be stepping on your toes. As you've seen, all these countries representing. Really great to see America come out on top. A bit sorry for Margin.
The Brit in you is like, oh, I really wanted to win.
I had, you know, I've got a bag of tea bags back at the, hotel.
You're going to have to save them, buddy. You're going to have to save them for tomorrow. But gents, it has been an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you to everyone in the audience who stayed and cheered on all of the players. But don't worry, as I previously mentioned, we've still got 2 more days of action to bring your way. The duos kick off tomorrow. We've got $400,000 worth of dollars, obviously, to give away tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Duos is going to kick off. We'll see you there.